Born and raised in Idaho, in a motocross-loving family, Chance Hymas dreamed of turning pro, and now he's living that dream. Throughout his amateur career, he took an unconventional path, avoiding the training facility grind and quietly building himself to one of the fastest riders in the sport, eventually earning a ride with Factory Honda. Now training in Central Florida at the Dog Pound alongside the fastest brothers in the game, Chance is putting in the work to become a championship contender. No handouts, just long days, tough motos, and steady progress. This season we saw a level of speed from Chance we haven't seen before, and it all came together at Thunder Valley, fastest qualifier, 1-1 in the motos. A flawless day showed exactly what he's capable of. At round 4 of Pro Motocross, Chance tore his ACL, sidelining him for the rest of the season. It was a moment that hit hard, in a way only the motocross community truly understands. You can prepare, you can be on the best team, but the risk in this sport is always real. This is Chance Hymas' story. Gypsy Gang, welcome Chance Hymas to the podcast. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts, and I am extremely excited to announce that I am now one of the founders and owners of this company. If you remember the podcast with Chris Grenier, he is the host and founder of the Bombhole podcast. He had these as basically just merch for the podcast, and we're like, dude, this is literally an amazing company in of itself. About 18 months later, it is alive, and we are very excited to bring this to you. You'll see a bunch of dudes on the start line of AMA motocross races popping these bad boys. At least for me, I'm taking it before a moto, I'm taking it before jiu-jitsu, I'm taking it before a podcast, in the middle of a podcast, if pop a salt, and I'm getting a mental refresh. Breathing is quite important. We do it a lot. We do it every day. If you don't do it, you're in big trouble. You probably should start doing it. And one of the things that is going to help us breathe right is our new Run Through a Wall nasal strips. These things are unreal. They're lightly scented. They're the perfect scent. They are going to go onto the nostrils. This one's lavender. We also have eucalyptus. I'm using these when I'm training. I'm using these when I'm just sitting at the desk, when I sleep, as much as I possibly can. Nasal breathing is extremely important, and these nasal strips help you do just that. Head to runthroughawall.com, check out the full range. You can get the brick. It's 3-pack of the smelling salts. You can get the nasal strips, and just stay tuned. This is going to be a very fun journey. This is an awesome brand. The ethos behind this brand is extremely fun. It's a great outlet, but it's also products that can definitely improve your quality of life. Head to runthroughawall.com. Stay tuned for more. We're just getting started. Extremely excited to bring you this brand. And remember, run through a wall. Say no to doors. Completely unnecessary.
I met a gypsy.
We're rolling, by the way. Chance Hymas is finally joining us for the pod. We tried to do this before Hangtown, but you got violently ill, dude.
Yeah. How was that? But I send you a text message about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 4 a.m. That's how I knew it was legit.
I was like, hey, I ain't making it in today. I'm puking and shitting right now. So,
dude, the worst before 100-degree outdoor race.
I was smoked. It was not good.
What'd you eat? What happened?
Dude, so it was a very polished Saturday. Sunday is my birthday.
Yeah.
So me, Jett, Seth, Drew, a couple other friends, we got to get dinner. Just go to a place in Corona, got some steak, salad, had an ice cream sundae for my birthday, like nothing like out of the ordinary. Maybe it was a salad, I guess. I don't know. California salad just hits a little bit different. But dude, it was less than an hour I got back to my hotel. I'm like,
no,
dude,
that quick.
Dude, I was like, and we had dinner pretty late, so I think I got back to my hotel like 9-ish. And I was like, dude, I got back and my stomach was just sitting there like starting to cramp. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. This is not good. Dude, all night, just go to bed for an hour, wake up, repeat the cycle, go back to bed, wake up, repeat the cycle.
No.
Dude, it was miserable.
And none of the other boys got hit.
Just me.
Wow. What did you eat different?
I was the only one that had a salad.
See, don't make friends with salad.
Exactly. And I had a Caesar salad. I love Caesar salads. First time it's ever taken me down. Or at least I'm assuming that's what took me down.
Well, it had to be.
I mean,
if you were the only one. It's like the water, like
the way
they
it's,
wash
I
the lettuce.
don't know what they're doing with it in the back, but yeah. Besides that was not fun.
Dude, so how did you, like, were you kind of recovered by the weekend? Because I feel like the biggest problem when you have those big spells are just like shitting and pissing and just the whole thing is like you just get so depleted and dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, dude, I mean, shit, I was really bad Monday. So like Sunday night to Monday morning, like that was the whole episode. And then, dude, fuck, I didn't eat anything Monday. Tuesday, towards the end of the day, Tuesday, I was just eating like just soup. Like it was the only thing I could stomach. I tried eating something else and I puked it up. So I was like, dude, like I can't. I already had an IV, so I'm like, dude, I can't keep puking and I can't puke this stuff up again. So I was just eating soup, and obviously it's not a lot, but at least I'm getting something in my stomach, some saltine crackers. But and then Wednesday rolled around, and I rode Wednesday a little bit because I had a test.
God, you would have felt like shit,
dude, and like, which was weird because
you rode Parla, didn't you?
We rode. Well, I was supposed to ride Tuesday at Paula. But we rode Paris on Wednesday.
That's right.
So I felt like all right Wednesday. Granted, it was like 60-degree weather. I mean,
and it was Paris.
Yeah, it was Paris. Like conditions were pretty pristine. So I mean, I wasn't fatiguing my body that much. But dude, so Wednesday kind of came and gone. I was like, all right, like I don't feel that bad. So Thursday, I was just trying to eat as much food as I could. On the plane, didn't feel very good, and then got there, ate some dinner, stomach was hurting. I was like, dude, like this ain't good. Like, so like I'm already kind of going in the weekend. I'm like, oh man, like I already know it's gonna be 100+ degrees. Like, dude, this isn't good. Friday, and like I start feeling pretty good Friday. I get some breakfast, have a coffee, kind of just like trying to just get more stuff in and eat lunch, and then I was kind of struggling to eat my lunch, and then once I kind of got it down, an hour goes by, and I'm starting to cramp up again. I'm like, dude, it was just the building blocks going into the week, and I'm like, oh my dude. Saturday rolls around, and then dude, I'm like barely eating breakfast, barely eat lunch. After qualifying, like I was struggling bad. After qualifying, like an hour before the first moto, puked up all my food.
Oh no!
Puked up all my food, water. I mean, you name it, it's all gone now. Going to the first moto, whole shot it, and then, dude, I think as soon as they gave me halfway, like, cause I was already starting to tank, they gave me halfway. I'm like, dude, you've got to be shitting me.
What'd you end up?
I think I got like 13th or something.
Oh,
and dude, it was
rough.
Just like, it would have been way better if I would have just started like 10th and like ended
and
up
got 13th.
And got 13th.
They're like, hey, good ride, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that I started first and went back to 13th, I was like, dude, that was like the worst possible situation that could have happened.
Oh.
And then it was just, dude, I got back, like, I'm seeing just flashes of white, about to pass out, and then I was like stumbling, trying to like get my gear off. Like I almost missed a chair, trying to sit into a chair. The team's like, it's like 4 of us just ripping my gear off. I'm trying to hurry up and get in the ice bath. Get in the ice bath. It doesn't even feel cold.
No way.
And dude, my body was just, I'm sitting there just shaking. Like I'm trying to drink a soda, trying to get some sugar in me, but I was so bloated, but I couldn't shit anything out and I couldn't burp. Like I had nothing. So I'm just sitting there. My stomach's just cramping. I'm withering away in a little ice bath outside the rig. And then everyone's checked me out. Doc Martin came and checked me out. Doc G was checking me out. And he's like, dude, like,
this ain't it.
So ultimately I made the call. Cause I mean, you'd sit there and think about it. I'm like, obviously like this is going to be detrimental to my championship, but I'm like, dude, I'm not going to go out there and risk.
People have died, bro.
That's what I mean. And like,
it's actually gnarly.
That was part of it that came in my head, but I was just like, dude, like this is how like Epstein Bar starts or like something like that, you know, like my body's already drained. I have nothing in the tank. I can't drink anything. I can't eat anything right now. Like, how am I supposed to go out there? I mean, like could I went out there and got a point or a few points? Yeah, for sure. But
that's much farther negative.
Yeah. How much deeper in the hole was I going to be?
Yeah.
So it just ultimately was like, it was gut wrenching, obviously, like all that mixed together. I'm just like, dude, like I've never sat out a moto in my life. Granted, at the professional level, like it's the worst place to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm already under a microscope already. So I mean, like as soon as all of that happened, I was just like, dude. Obviously, I got a good group of people behind me.
I was literally about to say that's where having a good group of people around you comes in so clutch. And like the team, personal sponsors, like you got Jeremy, you got Madsen, you got Dan. Like, dude, at Ironman last year. So I fly from Australia to LA to Nashville, basically. And so I had like my flight got cancelled, so then I had to just like stay in LA again. So I spent like all day Thursday, I think, at the airport, and then flight got cancelled. So then I went back, slept, and then went back to the airport the next day. Flew to Nashville. Right. We were there for one of the TKO event. Mm-hmm. Me, Dan, Jeremy, Madsen were up all night in fucking Nashville. And then I didn't drink though. So then I was like, cool, get back to the hotel like 4 a.m. We leave at 6. Truman gets up, drives us to Indy. I get to Indy and he's like, do you want to come to press day with me? And I'm like, nah, I don't know. I don't think I feel that good.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Dude, we had dinner that night. Yeah,
we had dinner that night.
Dinner. Yes. Yeah. So we had dinner that night. And then I went back. Yeah, you already know the story. You were there.
I completely forgot about that.
Bro, and if it wasn't for Truman, I'd literally be dead in a hotel in Indy. He like come in the morning, him and Jeremy. He had like a massive, so I got a migraine. He gives me this migraine tablet, doesn't do shit. Like 3 hours later, a nurse knocks on my door. I'm just in bed. Nurse comes in, does the IV, Apple Pay, bails. And I live to tell the tale. But moral of the story is you've got those kind of people in your corner that will make that sort of shit happen. So I think when you've got a good group around you that's like really on top of shit, they can make those decisions way easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got someone like Dan, someone like Madsen, someone like Burner.
Yeah.
Someone like Lars that have been around for so long and they've seen stuff like this happen. And in the moment, like you feel like it's kind of the end of the world, you know, like even though I missed one moto, and at the end of it right now, it doesn't matter if I missed the moto. I could have won the race or I couldn't race. It doesn't matter right now. I'm not racing. I haven't raced the last 2 weekends. So yeah, I mean, it's a situation like that. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. Like I said, I've never missed out on a moto. I've never sat out a moto. Like I'll race when I'm sick no matter what, but I've never been in that situation before. And it was just, at the end of the day, not a risk I was willing to take and bury myself even more. And how much worse would I have been that next Sunday, Monday?
100%.
You know, like
100%.
It's just something like my body wasn't even recovered from the week. How am I supposed to recover another week when I'm supposed to go race in Lakewood?
Yeah.
You know, granted, the temperatures were a lot lower, a lot easier on the body.
But still altitude, like there's still lots to deal with.
It takes more out of your body than you think.
Dude, altitude's no joke. Like even just going to Salt Lake and like you spend those first couple of days there, you get some like kind of headaches and it's like a weird, it's not, if you're not used to it, it's like not good for your body.
And I think where I grew up in Idaho, I grew up at about 4,500 feet elevation.
So you get a bit of it.
So obviously being removed from it for so long now and being back in Florida, I never really noticed, like, because everyone says like when you go from sea level to elevation, like obviously it's hard to breathe. I never noticed it, like never really noticed. Yeah, never noticed it. But dude, after being in Florida for 6 months and then I went back to Idaho, dude, I'm laying in bed, my heart's sitting there pumping. I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like now I kind of got a reality check there. I was like, dude, this is gnarly. Like I never realized how like beneficial it is to, you know, be at elevation and then you go to sea level and you're like, oh dude, like I feel like Superman, fresh, you know, feeling good.
What's the highest elevation you've ever been at, you reckon?
Honestly, I would probably say Mammoth,
which is like 8,000, isn't it?
About 8,000. So the mountains I grew up trail riding, there's a mountain, it's called Scout Mountain, but kind of like where you park or I guess Trailhead, you should say. It's like 6,000, maybe just over 6,000, but like the peak of it it's probably 8,500.
Yeah.
So you can go up there, trail ride up there, and that's
living.
Yeah, that's living. It's beautiful up there. So that's about, I would say that's probably the highest I've been, like physically, besides an airplane, obviously. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think of, I mean, I've grew up trail riding other places in Idaho. I'm not sure the elevation's there, but that's the only one that really comes to my mind that I have a for sure fact on.
We did a Christmas one year in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I
Yep.
think that's at like 12,000 feet. And then we did some like one of the runs on the snowboard, the trees just stop. Like it hits that, whatever they call it, there's like a name for it, where like the elevation changes to where like there's no more trees. So I think it goes up to like 14,000 feet.
Wow.
And yeah, we were snowboarding there and doing some like tree runs, and you go from like no trees at all, like down into the trees. And we just got dumped with snow, and man, I'm just like gassed. It just felt like up to my chest in snow, feeling like I'm legit drowning in it.
Dude, it's unreal. Like I said, I never really noticed it until I was at sea level for so long, then went back. And I remember I was doing like my regular training schedule that I do in Florida. So I mean, during
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't racing, so I'm probably doing like this would have been before I was pro. So I was probably doing like a 6-7 hour week. Nothing like crazy. I remember I did it. My resting heart rate was like 6 beats higher than what it usually is. I was smoked. I'm calling burner. I'm like, dude, like
This is rough, bro.
I just like
let's adjust the program.
I'm just like, don't worry about the numbers right now, because like, dude, I'm smoked right now. Like I'm still doing everything, but I promise I'm not out of shape. I just haven't been in the elevation in a long time.
So when was that? Because didn't you go back and do a bit of training at home this year?
I did. So I guess that story I was talking about would have been like when I first started working with burner in 22, end of 22.
So that's before you went pro?
Yeah, before I went pro. That was like
But
my
you'd
first
signed with
initial.
Honda.
Yeah. Yep. So that would have been like halfway through my amateur year, that 1 year I did with Honda. But yeah, so I went back to Idaho after Hangtown, flew there Sunday. Honestly, dude, I just needed I enjoy going back there. A lot of old buddies I grew up with, got to ride my home track there. And for I guess everyone listening to this, like it's something like I've been in Florida a long time, and that feels like home to me. And when I moved out of Idaho, like I was ready to move. I wanted something different. And I really enjoy being in Florida, but something about when you're away from it I've been away from it for 3 years now. Go back, it's different to me. Like it doesn't feel like home in a sense, but just the memories kind of just flush through your brain. And it's like I have a lot more perspective now than I did when I was 17 when I left. And it's just like, damn, like I'm doing what I'm doing from because I was in this place, you know, like this is what built me. Or even going back to the home track that I grew up riding, Cache Valley. Like it's the same layout that it's always been, same jumps, like it hasn't changed at all. I remember riding a CRF 50 around that place, first gear, wide open, pipes just red hot.
Yeah,
just riding everywhere. Wouldn't click into second gear because I didn't want to go faster. It was too fast. Dude, and then just a lot of our old friends that, you know, they're racing, a lot of my buddies are racing the Canadian series right now, and they, you know, we all kind of talked each other into coming back home and, you know, having a good old training day like we used to before Loretta's or just normal days, you know. And it's like, obviously that the skill levels are a lot different, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm riding with my buddies again. You know, that's what I grew up doing, what I love doing. You know, every weekend when I was in Idaho as a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid, like that's all I wanted to do is go to the track and see my buddies, because I don't really have any friends back in Pocatello that I went to school with, you know, like very few. I mean, a lot of them, it's just my oldest brother's friends that I grew up around. So my friends were the people I made friends with at the track.
Yeah.
So I only got to see them on the weekends or months at a time. And so it's just so cool going back. I haven't talked to them in months. I don't text them, nothing. They don't text me. But we can go back and, you know, just start a conversation like that, like we've, you know, never skipped a beat. And it just, dude, it's a mental reset. Especially like we can dig into this in a minute, but just the Supercross season, the off season I had, just the start of the outdoor season. Like, dude, it's like it's not that I was in like a dark place or anything, but I mean, dude, it's hard on you.
It gets hard.
It's hard, you know,
Yeah.
and I put a lot of expectation. I have a lot of expectation for myself, and I put a lot of weight on my shoulders. And, you know, I believe that I can be that guy and, you know, be one of the greats. But when you're not accomplishing your goals that you put in place for yourself, it's frustrating. And only you know how that feels. Obviously people make their own goals, and if they come up short, they're frustrated, and only they know how frustrating that is. So for me to go back to Idaho, do my own thing, kind of just be removed from everything, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it can give you a bit of perspective of like how far you've come, because everything gets so normal, like, I mean, even for us, we've been here for the last couple of years, we're about to go back to Oz, and it's like, you have those resets are what makes you appreciate, like, oh man, we've like achieved a lot in this period of time or these couple of years. Like, you realize what you're leaving, and you realize what you're going back to, and it does give you a sense of perspective of your life, and takes you out of the routine and the same coffee shop and the same everything that you do. When you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, you pull out of the car park in the same way at your house, you park in the same spot every day. Like, everything becomes on autopilot. And I think when you go and do something like, go to your hometown, it's just a full mental perspective reset. And it can really make you appreciate what you've done, where you're at, where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, like I said, the perspective part of it, I look back on it, it's like, damn, like, I've done some cool shit coming from where I'm from. And there's a lot of the local series, RMX series ran by the Bruffs. They're my bestest friends that I grew up with. All their boys are a year older than me and my two oldest brothers. So like I said, they're my closest friends that I got, family friends. And, I got to see those guys when I was back. They actually own the Cache Valley track now. So just talking with them, and they kind of do that's called the grassroots method. That's kind of like their local training stuff that they used to do, or it's rebranded now. But so they do that. And obviously there's a lot of kids nowadays with social media. They see a lot of people at training facilities, and I've never been a guy that's gone to a training facility. The only, I guess, training facility you want to call is the Dog Pound. That's the only place I've ever been to, but to me it doesn't feel like a training facility.
Yeah.
It's different, there's not a bunch of amateur kids there. It's professionals there to do their job. Like,
that's a crew.
It's different, but just some of these kids that are like feel like they can only make it when they need to go to an MTF or a place like that, where it's, some people can do that, but it's not for everybody. They just kind of just see what they kind of want to chase the dream and go live the amateur life, but kind of want to just, and the Bruffs do a pretty good job of it too. And kind of like what I want to tell these kids as well. It's like, listen, like you look at a lot of the greats, look at Ricky, James, both the Ryans, you look at Jett and Hunter now, you look at Eli.
Dude, Cole Davies,
like,
he wasn't at a training facility.
Nothing. I mean, even Haiden, like, he kind of bounced back and forth with some stuff, but I mean, he kind of just did his own stuff too. Like, there's a lot of guys that I would say the best of the best, they're not at training facilities. They're here. Like, these are the days that, like, riding your dirt bike is the best training for you. Like, you guys are so young. Like, you don't need to worry about the off bike stuff. Go out and ride your bike 5 days a week. Like, bike time is the most important training you could do right now at your age. Yeah. And I look back at what I did when I was an amateur. Dude, like, I didn't get like an off bike trainer until I was 14, 15. Like, when I was A class as an amateur, like, dude, I just kind of did my own stuff. Granted, I was like cycling and doing some like rowing and stuff, but like I wasn't doing like a legit like gym program. But dude, like, I just rode all the time. I rode 4 to 5 days a week. Like, I was putting some time on some motors. And it's funny because my dad actually sent me a video. He's cleaning up his shop right now. Dude, he probably sent me, it had to have been, it looked like 25 Kawasaki Super Mini motors just on a pallet, just scattered. He's like, look at this Kawasaki boneyard I got here. Dude, it's just motors scattered everywhere. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, like I said, I kind of went back and was going through the memory bank on that one. Like, dude, I've put some time on these bikes.
That is really crazy to think about. They say like 10,000 hours to be like a whatever. It's like, that's probably what you guys have done.
Absolutely.
Just like hours and hours. Like, I remember when Chad did the podcast like years ago, he'd say that he used to ride with a 20-litre drum. So I don't know how many gallons that is. 20-litre drum on his 80, ride to the track, put the fuel drum down, fill up his bike, and then ride home with an empty 20-gallon drum on an 80. Like, that is probably 2 hours on the bike.
That's a lot of gas.
That's a lot of time riding. And then doing that every day, like, dude, you've got to get good.
Absolutely. That's, like I said, it's the best training you can do when you're a kid. But also I feel like when you're a kid, it's easier to take that stuff in than it is when you're 16, 17, when your brain's a lot more developed. And
1,000,000%.
And you start thinking about the reasons, like A, B, and C could go wrong. Like if A doesn't work, B, C, D, E can go wrong. It's like when you're a kid, like you don't think about that stuff. You just do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I think about stuff that I want to try learning now, and it's like, dude, holy shit, like it's such a long process. But when you're a kid like that, you can start doing stuff and it just happens. Like that's why I'm like I look at a lot of these kids and like, dude, just go ride your dirt bike. Like you love riding your dirt bike. Go do it. That's all you need to do.
All day, every day.
Go do as many laps as you can.
Yeah.
And like that's all I did was an amateur from that place. Like you don't need no fancy bikes, no fancy training facility. Like just get yourself go to the pump gas station and, you know, put some premix in the can and go ride your dirt bike. Go out to the desert, go up in the mountains, trail ride, something. Like, dude, that's just one of the things that came up in my mind when I went back to Idaho. It's like, dude, like,
yeah, I didn't need any crazy shit. Like, I just did it from right here.
Because it's like, obviously, the stuff I have access to nowadays as a professional and what we have at the farm, like, dude, I mean, it's wild. And the stuff you have access to at Factory Honda with the bikes and the amount of freedom you have with the setup, like, dude, I could fully customize my bike. I mean, it's unreal. And then I look back on that and it's like, man, like,
ran the same set of grips for like 9 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, dude, it's unreal. Like, just how different it is and like how different my life is. And it just like, it happens so quick and like, you honestly don't even realize it until.
And you're still so young.
Exactly. I'm barely 20. Like I turned 20 a month ago now. So dude, I'm still getting older, still maturing, still learning. Like I'm gonna be learning for a lot of years, probably maturing for a lot of years too. I'm still a pretty stupid kid, but.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brunt Workwear, and I have got the brand new Marin boot here to show you guys right now. Over the last couple of years, I just wanted to get rid of doing the sneaker thing. They're not waterproof. They got super dirty, and I would end up with track shoes. I wanted to be able to rock some boots. It just made a lot more sense to wear boots. So I've switched to wearing boots, and now I've switched to wearing these Brunt boots. There's a super short break-in period, and they're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're slip and oil resistant, they're heat resistant, and they're electrical hazard rated. A lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, you're on job sites, you run a machinery, and you actually really need and test all of these features every single day. So now you can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable out of the box as your sneakers, and over 500,000 customers agree. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using the code GYPSYGANG at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code GYPSYGANG and you are all set. And even better, Brunt will let you try this work boot risk-free on the job site. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show by telling them that the Gypsy Gang sent you. I feel like you're extremely mature for your age though, which is probably why you've been able to move away and have the success that you have had, because you are a pretty self-sufficient kind of adult. And when you said before about going home and how like good the feeling was, that's because you got an awesome family too.
Absolutely.
Like you have a really, really cool family. Both your brothers are cool as fuck. Your parents are cool as fuck. Your dog's cool as fuck. So it's like to go home back into that environment, there's like a lot of love and a lot of like legitimate friendship in your family too, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. But also I forgot to mention, like going back to my dad's dealership, you know, like those people watched me grow up. Like there's a tech there and a sales manager there that have literally watched me. They probably saw me in diapers there and now I'm off doing my own thing. They're still working there. Like
HRC.
Exactly. Like they were there when Kawasaki Boneyard, the Super Minis and stuff there. Like dude, like they've watched me grow up, and like I said, I'm 20 now. Like that's a long time, and I go back and shoot the shit with them, and it's just like it's family. And I also love going back to the dealership and seeing familiar faces, and it's kind of the same thing I was talking about at Cache Valley. Like, dude, it's like you go home, it feels like home to me. I mean, dude, I spent so many days in that dealership working on bikes, and that was where the love for dirt bikes came from. That's what created all of this going on, and all those years of me working on my bikes. My dad's working. If you want to go ride, son, you need to work on your bikes. I don't have time to do it. I got a business to run.
Yeah, look at these bikes. Look at
this
hundreds
stuff,
of these things here.
Because this stuff don't run on its own, So, that's. I mean, I remember when I was on a 65, just getting on a 65. I was like 6, 7 years old. I'm changing my oil, changing my air filter. Like doing the basic stuff, and then getting on 85. So I'm helping my dad change top ends on the bikes. I'm starting to learn how to change tires and starting to do that stuff. And then, dude, when I got on big bikes, I mean, I think this is where obviously my dad knew exactly what he was doing, and he's had 2 older boys before me. So like with me being the youngest, I'm able to learn from their mistakes. I'm able to shortcut it a little bit in a sense. Yeah. Because I see my older brother's mistakes. I get to learn the stuff that they went through and what they did to capitalize on certain situations. And I can almost just like, all right, I'll just do this like they did and it'll work. Obviously, most of the time it works out. Most of the time it doesn't, but times are different. But in that sense, I learned, like, I had the independence instilled in me at such a young age, just from, honestly, just going to the shop and tinkering on stuff. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, you, like, had freedom.
Exactly. Like, I'm not, like, super mechanically inclined. Like, could I sit here and tear apart a motor and put it together? I mean... I have enough faith in myself. I could do it.
Would I ride on a
Would I ride
track?
it? No. I take a trail ride though. Where there's no jumps, nothing. So just stuff like that. But I mean, dude, like I said, when I was on Super Minis, I was building bikes, and I remember this one will always stay in my head because it's like I feel like everyone like either doesn't oil an air filter enough, or forgets to put an air filter in, or leaves a wash cover on, or something, just something silly like that. Mammoth 2019. Rebuilt my Super Mini, my race bike, to go to Mammoth, and then we do going out for practice, like just started the week. I do like 2-3 laps, get to like the farthest in the back section, bike blows up. And I was just like, shit, dude. Like, I had no idea. Like, I forgot to put the air filter in, but get it back. I think PC tore it down, or Cowie tore it down. They look at me, or they're talking to my dad about it. And my dad's like, "Hey, John, come here." And he points at the airbox. He goes, "Is this missing something?" I look at it. I'm like, "Fuck, dude." So luckily, PC had a spare like 112 motor, so I used that for the week. Went down to Mitch, and I'm like, "Hey, Mitch, thanks for letting me use your motor. I'm sorry." He's like, "You're good, bud. Did your brother do this?" I'm like, "No, I did." I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "Fuck, Mitch. Like, don't chew my ass."
Dude, that's like fair play to your dad though, for like actually giving you the responsibility, because that's a lesson learned. I bet you've never done that ever again.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mitch remembers that, but I sure as shit too. I was like, dude, I don't want to go down to Mitch, and like, I'm so scared. I just blew up a freaking motor. Like, this motor is pretty much brand new. It just got a fresh rebuild, Like, I'm like, shit, dude.
Oh, dude.
But I mean, dude, I was like 13. I would have been 14 years old.
Yeah, respect for doing it.
And I was like, shit, dude, like, this sucks. But I mean, dude, just stuff like that my dad made me do over there. So I'm sure there's a handful of stuff I'm missing. But like, over the years, he grew that trust in me, like started to build to where it became time for me to move to Florida and be on my own. And he was all right with it. But it was also me and him butt heads a lot, because I'm there with the Lawrences, and they're doing their program, and they're riding a couple days a week. They're not doing a whole lot during the races, like the racing each weekend. That was before like I even like, you don't put 2 and 2 together, like the race on the weekend, and like you're not going to put a 7-hour work weekend while you're racing. So I was like, no, like they're having me do this, like I want to do this, like, and that's kind of where we butt heads, because your dad, no one knows better than your dad. Yeah. And no one's been around you more than your dad has. So we kind of butt heads on that for a while, and then like he kind of just ended up letting me do my own thing for a little bit, and I think he let me fall on my face quite a bit, and then that's when I learned, I'm like, fuck, I need the old man, I need him in my corner. So that was like, I got a little bit more perspective, and I was like, you're right, like, what's best for me, and I was kind of struggling at the time too. I'm like, we need to, let's take a couple steps back, let's get this thing figured out, and started to figure things out for sure. That would have been summer 23. So I did my first knee, and that's when we kind of started talking things over. And I was just like, dude, like, I'm so burnt out right now. Like, I don't really love it anymore. Like, I'm not getting out of it what I feel like I'm putting into it. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what isn't translating, but it's like, I can go faster in the week. I'm putting all the work in, like, my numbers are good. I feel like I'm putting more work in than anybody, but something just isn't translating. And it's just, now I'm sitting here with my first knee, just haven't really done anything in my career so far. And I'm just like, dude, like, what do I do? Like, and that was my first real injury that I had spent a long time off the bike. And I was like, dude, that was when I realized, like, all I have is dirt bikes. I don't have a life outside of dirt bikes. And I was like, dude, what do I do? Like, then I went through a dark time there trying to figure things out, and a lot of times you need to heal on your own. And man, it's a struggle. It's tough, especially when you're 17. I would have been 18 at that time. But dude, it's gnarly.
I mean, in the dirt bike world, it's maybe not that crazy of a story, right? Like, sign a big contract, you're on your own, you got all these sponsors, you kind of get shipped off to a facility, and it's like, righto, you get told what to do. It's like common in a sense, but that's so uncommon in the real world.
Dude,
like, there's no other place. Like, think about the equivalent if you're a 18-year-old kid would be like college football. And then you're around a whole team. You're like living at a school. You've got all these people, like,
I mean, your average 17, 18-year-old are just graduating high school.
100%,
or
dude.
first year in college. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm
zero responsibility. Everything's
Exactly.
taken care of. Like, it's a team sport. So you're not out there in front of, the eyes of the whole motocross world looking at you, like it is a very unique experience for a young kid to go through,
Absolutely. And I've always been an underdog my whole life, like even when I was an amateur, like I was never really great on mini bikes. I was always really fast, but I never started up front. I always finished pretty far back because, I mean, we do short motos at amateur races and all the fast guys start up front. I guess as fast guys, but I mean.
Who was in your age era? Who was like the dudes?
Same age as me, Romano, Ryder D. We were, funny enough, we were all teammates on Team Green at one point.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then just above me, Jett Reynolds.
Who won literally everything.
He was probably the next AC as a mini bike guy.
Yeah.
So there was those guys. We had the LeBlanc, Yoder. Braswell was really good. Shoot, I'm sure I'm missing a handful of guys right now, but
dude, you're basically beating all those guys. That's crazy, dude.
But it's gnarly. Like, I think people see those guys now and it's like, oh, like they're not very good, But like when we were amateurs growing up, like obviously injuries plague people. Now I'm starting to get my run of injuries. But I never had an injury when I was an amateur, and those guys started getting injuries or started getting hurt. I think Nick was pretty good on injuries. I remember Ryder D had a couple. Obviously, LeBlanc had a lot of his issues. Yoder started getting some of his issues, same with Braswell. And, dude, people don't realize how gnarly my generation was and the generation before me. Like, because even before me, I remember would have been like I guess you can, towards the end of my amateur career, you throw Thrasher in there, throw Levi in there.
Yeah.
But.
Dude, Levi was a beast of an amateur.
Yeah, exactly. But he was a late bloomer. Like he only really started doing good his last couple of years as an amateur, and he was a bit older than me.
Yeah.
But better late than never, like he's still ended up where he ended up right now because of those last 2 years or 3 years he had as an amateur.
Yeah.
Same with Thrasher, because I don't really remember Thrasher on a mini bike, but I don't really think he lit the world on fire. But obviously on big bikes he was really good. He was on TLD KTM. But dude, my last, I guess, kind of jumping ship a little bit, but my last 2 years as an amateur. So 2020 Loretta's, I raced Schoolboy 2 250B. I was 15 years old, so it was me, Nick Romano, LeBlanc, Nate Thrasher, Yoder. I guess I won Schoolboy 2 that year, so it was me and Thrasher battling for it. Dude, that year was so gnarly, so gnarly. The regional that we did for that year was in Utah, and on the West Coast, they only do top 4 qualify for Loretta's. There was 5 of us there. So I remember at the start of the week, I'm like, dude, one of us ain't qualifying.
It's like some Love Island shit. Like, one of us ain't coming back to the house.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, like, this is, and like, I would have been 14, maybe 15 at the time. Like, dude, that was pretty wild for me, like, to sit there and think, like, man, one of us ain't, qualifying. Like, this is kind of wild. Like, that was my first ever time being in that situation, too. I'm like, this is kind of, like, sick, But, dude, I just look back on times like that, and it's just, dude, like, I raced some gnarly guys. And, like, dude, Jet Reynolds was the gnarliest guy as an amateur, and then he got plagued with injuries,
What do you think it is? Like, do you think, because, yeah, when you name those names, like, I mean, you're the one that's probably had the most professional success. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you put it? Is it just luck that you didn't get hurt the way that they did? Or is it like, because, all right, so you've got great technique, like really, really precise. And the way you ride the bike is, you look slow sometimes, that's what you want.
Absolutely.
Maybe those guys are just like the full send kind of guy. Like, what is it,
I think just the foundation I grew up around, being in Idaho, being on my own. I think when you're so young in SoCal, you're around, that was when obviously Pro Moto was super heavy in SoCal still. I think when you're just around that so much and you have the weight on your shoulders like Jett did, or Ryder D did, or even Romano did at the time, or just, I guess, Thrasher did too. Like, everyone expected them to win. They had a lot more invested in those guys than they did me. I just kind of had like my base deal. And like, here's your team green ride, here's your allotment of bikes, your parts, like, go get him, Tiger. Yeah. Like, obviously, like, the better I did, it started getting better and better for me, and I started becoming more of an investment. But at the beginning, like,
just no pressure.
They had their 10-year plan with Jett. They had their plan with Ryder D. I was just kind of just there. And I go back to Idaho, do my own thing. They don't see me till the next national, where they're around those guys constantly in SoCal. That becomes a bigger relationship there. That becomes more of an investment over time, because obviously they were really good and they're winning races. So it's like, shoot, Cowie's looking into the future, looking who their next guy's going to be, who's going to be their next Eli Tomac, who's going to be that guy that's going to start filling those shoes, who's going to be their next AC on PC, So I think when you start having that much pressure on you at such a young age, some people can take it. Look at Haiden. He's always been in the spotlight, and he thrives off that, where you take those other guys. Granted, like, I'm just speaking out of pure opinion, just being around it. I don't know if it's a pressure thing. I don't know if it's the weight of having that much expectation on your shoulders. But something along those lines, I feel like when, you got the big bosses coming to the amateur races to watch you, and like, you're not really sure who they are, but they're a big boss. That's pretty gnarly.
And you're just a kid, literally a kid.
Exactly. We're talking like we're 14 years old. Like, you're
dumb
14,
as fuck.
You're 14 years
Dumb
old.
as fuck.
You're 14 years old. First year in high school, technically.
Yeah.
And you have the biggest bosses in Kawasaki America watching you. They're looking for their next investment. You're 14 years old. Like, I don't think people realize how heavy that is. And like, at the time, I didn't, because I'm just a kid. I'm just there to race my dirt bike. I look back on it now, I'm like, holy shit, dude, like, that's it's wild.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and like I honestly never even realized it now until we're talking about it. I think that stuff, it's for some people, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle it, but like, the thing is, you got to be able to handle it if you're gonna go race professional, because it just increases times 3, times 4 when you're a professional.
Or you just don't expose your kid to it until there's more of a level of maturity, you know?
Yeah, in which I grew up. Like I said, grew up in Idaho. There's not, where I'm from, I don't think people can put Pocatello on a map if they tried, but you know, I'm pretty removed from all that stuff. Like, I'm not a very outgoing person in that sense. Like, I'm a pretty laid back, normal guy. And even growing up, like, I've never been that guy that's been in the spotlight. Like I said, I've always been an underdog. You know, people always kind of forgot about me as an amateur. But I look back on it now, and it's probably the biggest blessing I could ever asked for.
Well,
you know?
and then even think about, like, because when I come back here a couple years ago, because I'd been away for like 5 years, and I got back and I went to Loretta's. It was the first time I'd ever been to Loretta's. And I just remember how dog shit the track was after like 2 practices. And I'm like, are any of these people practicing, or are they just racing? Like, as soon as people were on the track, it was just a full send fest. Every rut was completely fucked. Hooks in everything, look shit, lines were shit. I was like, dude, this seems like this isn't how it should be. But I think that speaks to the culture of amateur racing here. Like, I remember at least at home, it was like people were way more chill first practice, you know, then you'd get like a second practice, guys that kind of send it a bit more. But it just seemed like every time you go to any track, you go to Glen Helen on a Tuesday or a Thursday, everyone sending it. And I think it's what you're saying, like, there is eyeballs when you're around the industry. Like, if you know the industry's here, you're going to send it. At Parlour every weekend, like, everyone goes to the same tracks on the same days here. It's always who's going fastest. I feel like there is a bit of a culture. And when you're a kid that grows up in that culture, you're just like naturally kind of egged on to be like that as a racer. You, growing up in Idaho at the local track, like, you can go slow if you want to, or you can work on technique. You can't, like, it just, you get the vibe that nobody ever wants to get past here, ever.
Exactly.
And it's like, you have to be on 100% of the time if you grow up in the world of the industry. And yeah, you just didn't have that. And like, you know, I think about Cole. I've even said this to BT, because like, his kids are like Jaggers racing the world champs this week. They're like living in Europe, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, bro, Cole Davies didn't do shit. Like, he raced in Australia and New Zealand and then just hit the whoops 4 million times at your house, and now he's one of the best dudes in the world. Like, maybe we don't need all of this extra shit. And I mean, Jett and Hunter are a great example. Like, they just packed up, went to Europe, and just like kind of fumbled their way through Europe and EMX. And, you know, Hunter obviously did the MX2 class and like progressed, but wasn't like that was this standard roadmap of just like locking into the amateur grind in the US.
Exactly. And it's funny when you bring in like the European perspective or the Australian perspective, you know, like, just, I guess I should say foreigner perspective. Like, the amateur
It's 4th of
scene.
July, you can say foreigners.
Foreigners, yeah. But dude, it's so different, like, how they go over there and they have a full weekend of, you know, practice and their amateur schedule. Like, they don't have like their 5-6 amateur races a year that's like, it's a week long, and like, it's the amateur culture is so different, dude. Like, it over here, it's, you show up practice day, you're sprinting first practice, and it's like, you go out there, you have transponders on your back, you go out there, if you don't put a fast time in, you're freaking 20th.
Everyone's looking at you. You're looking at yourself.
Like, what are you doing, little Jimmy? Like, we're only good enough for 20th. Like,
Dad's freaking out. Mum's freaking out at
team's
dad.
freaking out. Like,
Yeah.
just like, dude, like, you look at that, you have no choice but to go fast. Like, there's no other choice. And especially when you go to these amateur races and they're only 5 laps, 5-lap sprint, bro. Like, you can't take time to get settled into a groove and get ready. Like, you're like that. So every amateur race I've ever done, I mean, up until you become A class on 250s, and then you start doing the 20-minute motos, or they start incorporating it into B class, which I give a lot of credit to my dad too. Because my dad used to bitch about it at the races. We drive all this way for 5-lap motos. It's ridiculous. Like, we pay all this money, spend all this time training, whatnot, and you guys are going to give us 5-lap motos? Seriously? And I think my dad was pivotal in like that kind of change. And it helped because I was, that was when I was starting to do a lot better, and I was starting to win a lot of stuff as an amateur.
Yeah.
So I feel like my dad kind of had a little bit of a pull at that sense. So I think he started kind of getting the ball rolling a little bit on that. Whether it's different nowadays, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to amateur stuff anymore. But for a while when I was in it, races were starting to get longer and longer. So, dude, it's amateur stuff over here is crazy. And like, I remember on Team Green, like we had allotted like 2 test days a year or something like that, maybe 3. I mean, depending like if they were had time for us or not, because our same suspension guy was the same suspension guy for the pro team on pro circuits. So we basically would do like 2 during the summer, or 1 during the summer, or 1 during the spring. So I remember coming down here during the summer. We went and rode Glen Helen, rode Paula, rode State Fair when it was still around. Did a 3-day stint, went back home. But we go to Paula one day. It's rented out, all PC, all Honda, all KTM, all factory guys out there. I'm 15, 16. I'm, granted, like I said, keep in mind, I'm not around these guys at all. Every time. Like, it's different when I'm out there testing with Reynolds, Ryder D. Like, they're around these guys all the time. Like, they're kind of buddies with them too. Like, I'm still kind of starstruck. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm out here with Eli Tomac's over there. I mean, Chase Sexton's over there. I mean, Marvin Muscan's over there.
He's just walking around with like a little autograph pad.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I can't like go talk to these guys. I'm gonna stutter so bad. but I mean, like, I was almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, being in Idaho, I was like under in a bubble. Almost,
yeah.
Like I wasn't exposed to any of it. So being down there, like I said, I was kind of starstruck. And then you kind of go and do your own thing, and it's kind of sick because like a lot of the times I'd be the fastest guy, and it's like a lot of the pros like don't really know who I am.
Who the fuck is Chance Hymas?
And I remember 2020, one of the days out at Paula, I remember Coop was there. He was on KTM still. I guess he saw me ride out there and told somebody that I was going to win Loretta's or something. Like, I was doing really good, and that was the year I won Loretta's, only year I ever won Loretta's.
No way.
And he was like, I told somebody then when I saw you at Paula, like, you were ripping, like, I knew you were going to be good. And like, just looking back on that now, I'm like, dude, Coop's a badass, like someone that's super well respected in the sport. And he is saying that about me, like, dude, that's amazing. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, that must have been a cool feeling. Did you know that day that he said that?
Yeah, it
or
would
it
have
was
been
after?
It would have been on like, I posted something for like my championship or something. He was like, yeah, dude, like I told somebody, like, wrote me a nice little message on my post. And I was
That's sick.
I was like, dude, that's super cool. And like, I was, like I said, 15 years old. Like, I idolized Coop. Like, Coop was a badass, and like that was when he was on his run there.
Yeah.
Run his first championship with KTM. I'm like, dude, like, this is awesome. Like, you're so sick.
Can you believe he won the title this year? Like, when Jett went out and when Eli went out, and it looked like Chase and Coop, who do you think was going to win?
I'm not surprised Coop won. Just because Coop's a dog. Like,
it's crazy, bro.
His mental game is just insane. And I really do like Chase, and his speed is unmatched. Like, I feel like speed-wise, he's the only guy that can compete with Jett. But there's just something there that's just not quite clicking, especially against Coop, dude. Like, I feel like anybody, I mean, Jett's different, Eli's different, but just anyone against Coop, like,
just man on man,
pure, like, especially where it was at, like, just mental, like, dude, like, you can't bet against Coop. Like, he's just a dog.
It's just crazy that he has 3. Like, there's so many people have 2. Chad Reed, James Stewart, Eli Tomac. 3. To do 3 in the modern era, it's insane.
Unreal.
Like, almost unmatched.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has the most on the current grid right now. Yeah. Dude,
That is wild, bro.
It's crazy.
2 different manufacturers, like just insane. And then you look at what he did in the 250 class. Like, yeah, beast, dude.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Coop. Like he's always been a really, really nice guy to me. Always been super respectful towards me. Always taken time to talk to me. Like, to me, that means a lot. Like, I'm big on first impressions, and especially when I was young, when I met him, like he was super cool. And I did get to meet a lot of like current relationships that I have with some bigger name guys through Jake Weimer when I was working with him.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Idaho boy.
That's another thing we can get into as well. But yeah, dude, just like a lot of people like Coop that I've met, you know, and I got to meet, you know, Ivan Tedesco very briefly. Got to meet Brock very briefly with Jake. Like, you know, all of them were super cool to me, you know, and it's like people like that you grow up watching, and, you know, you're a kid and you never really think about meeting them one day, you know, like that stuff's so cool. Like, I have a lot of respect for those guys. And dude, if you're out there risking your life as a professional, you're putting the work in, like, dude, I have a lot of respect for you. And because I know how hard I work, I know what dedication I put into it, how much my family's given up to put me in this situation. Dude, everybody goes through something to get here. And it's like, I respect everybody that's been through that.
Yeah. Dude, no, 1,000,000%. When you said before that you have things in your head that you are trying to do and you're like, oh, that's like kind of gnarly. What kind of stuff at your level are you trying to do that you can't do yet?
I think it's more or less like I'm a thinker. I think that's it can be really good for sure, but it can also hinder you a little bit. Yeah. I wish sometimes I would just shut my brain off and just trust my instincts.
Yeah, like there's a little map switch on the bars, and like brain on, brain off.
Exactly. And I think that's also just one of the ways I've just got brought up, you know, like just really think things through. Like, you know, just be careful. Like, it's not like I was sheltered, you know, but it's like always think through what you're going to do, you know, always put your best foot forward. Granted, in a lot of things, like I would pick that over not using my brain at all, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but there's sometimes when you're racing and you sit there and think about the what ifs, you know, like you can't do that when you're a racer. Like sometimes you just need to shut your brain off and go put a fast lap in. You need to shut your brain off and just go race. And I was just starting to learn how to do that better. Like, what if I don't win? What if I don't qualify? What if, like, just stupid stuff like that? Like, stuff that's so irrelevant.
So it's not really on the bike stuff.
No.
As much as it's more just like the mental side.
It's more just the mental side, for sure. And, you know, obviously you never open up about it to your competitors because it's like, oh, like, that guy's weak, you know? And it's different on race day because I feel like no matter what, you always flip that switch. And when you go race, you know you're racing, and you kind of just deal with it. Take the punches as they roll, you know? Yeah. But like I just kind of sit here, like I'm sitting on the couch after High Point or something. I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, man, like if I would have just like, I could have passed Tom this lap, or I could have just passed this guy this lap, or if I got a better start, like I should have passed this guy there, this guy here. But it's like you're just so in your thoughts, or at least I'm so in my thoughts about just stupid stuff that's irrelevant at that point, you know? And it's at times I just wish that I would just shut my brain off and just do what Chance does. Like, because Chance during the week doesn't give a shit about what this person's doing, like, or if this goes wrong. Like, Chance during the week shows up and dogs it out, and he's fast. He's the best. But Chance gets the weekend, and it's a different Chance. And it's just, I think that's still something I'm learning as a professional, learning how to manage, because there's a lot of outside noise that can affect it pretty bad. And I've been really good about not letting that shit affect me. You know, it's more or less just like the own disappointment from myself. Yeah. You know, like I've never really cared about the outside noise in a sense of people talking shit, fans talking shit. It's more or less just like me and the team, or me and my close group, we set these goals, and we're putting X amount of work in. We should be able to get X, Y, and Z, no problem. You know, and we have a couple things that don't go our way. I'm fighting the bike a little bit, get the food poisoning, like just the little
stuff
shit.
That's out of your control in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense. And we got the bike a lot better for Lakewood, and go win liquid. And the bike was really good for high point too. But that's, I just struggled, and I had a shit start first moto, and I rode good, but can't do anything when you start 20th, you know? But second moto, I was just smoked from, you know, sprinting the whole 30 minutes the first moto. And like Haiden was better than everybody that day, you know? And like, to me, like if I'm doing everything I can and I get second, like there's no excuses, you know? Just go back and be better. Like I feel like I did everything I could that day, and I would have locked in a second overall and would have been fine, you know? Like, but it's, you know, Haiden goes 1-1, you know, after I went 1-1, it's like a big statement ride. Everyone's making a big deal out of it, you know, but it's just part of the sport we're in nowadays, and you kind of just have to deal with that stuff. But yeah, I mean, the mental side's heavy, especially with going through the knee stuff I've been going through, especially 3 years in a row now. It's been through some dark times, man. It's been fucking rough. Like I've had to, you know, carry myself out of some of this shit. And the first one was really rough on me, just not really knowing like what to expect, and just had some complications with it at first. So it took almost twice as long as it should have. Yeah. So that was rough. And then retiring it a week before Supercross was also gut wrenching, because I didn't have a contract for the next year. I didn't have anything in my contract to solidify me for next year. So I had no other option but to go race. And then kind of just shit the bed all Supercross season. And so going into outdoors, I'm like that was when I figured out some health issues, and like was starting to feel a lot better and riding like myself normally. So I got my 2-year extension, three rounds in or 4 rounds in after high points. So that was, you know, a big relief. And then I had my good summer that I did, and, you know, getting picked for you at Team USA, like, dude, dream come true. And then go to SMX, and like, obviously, like, I wasn't planning on getting my knee fixed because I hadn't had a problem with it. And then I just dabbed it wrong and just blew it up. And they're like, yeah, like higher ups, like, yeah, you need to get that thing fixed. Like, we're not paying you to go race nations. We're paying you to go win championships next year. So then I just, dude, after that, go get it fixed. You're laying in bed, you're in pain. And it's just like, you're sitting there watching everybody, you know, you're watching destinations, you're watching people doing what you want to do. And it's like, fuck, if I could have been there, like we could have won that thing. Like you have those thoughts going through your head.
You would have been good at Madley too, dude. It's very Colorado.
That's what I mean. I just remember watching him. I was just like, I remember just like kind of tearing up a little bit. I'm just like, dude, like you just get so mad, like so mad at yourself. That's just like some little mistake, and it just changes everything. Yeah. And that was exactly what happened at high point. I just made one little mistake, came down on my knee wrong, and just changed everything. And it's just, people don't understand how quickly things can change in just a snap of a finger, just like that. I mean, that happened in one of the slowest sections on the track in 2 seconds. Yeah. And I went from being second overall to not being on the podium to out for the rest of the year. Yeah. Just like that. And dude, that's gut-wrenching.
That's the stuff that's hard to deal with.
That's the stuff that's hard to deal with. But that's what makes an athlete that comes back from those things and wins so good, because the mental strength you gain from that, the perspective you gain from that, it's so important. I mean, I was a completely different person after I did my second knee than I was the year prior. Like the stuff that I went through. I mean, so I did my knee in end of September. I guess I would have did it the week after Vegas SMX. So I got surgery then. Basically lived in Torrance with my race mechanic, going to Dr. G's in Newport every day for 2 months straight, basically, up until I was riding. So we're talking, I was riding at 11 weeks.
That's crazy.
And it was just, dude, it was a grind. I remember there was days in there, and like, I made such a big leap, and I'm like, all right, I'm feeling really good. And then you start working a bit harder. You get a little bit of tendonitis, it starts getting really sore. Then it's like, you have a couple of those days where you don't feel like you're making progress, and the days are still ticking. And you're like, fuck, dude, like this thing needs to get going. Like I need to get time on the bike. Cause granted, at that time, new bike switched over. It's a lot different than last year's bike. I'm in good shape because I'm still working out, still cycling and everything, but it's not compared to riding shape. You know, it's always a lot different.
Even your hands, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, look how much tape Jett had on his hands for the first few rounds.
Exactly. So it's just nothing compares to that. So I remember when I got on the bike, I was like, dude, I just need to ride as much as I can. Just go outdoors, ride like 70-80%, just cruise around, get the feelings back, get the hands moving, eye speed up, just kind of get the fundamentals back. And then, dude, just started riding again. Dude, my arms were just blowing up. And I always struggled with arm pump last year. And like, when I had my health issues, like it was really, really bad. And like, it just, when you have arm pump, dude, like you're just a passenger.
Yeah,
you can't do anything, you know? And like, it was so bad to the point.
Everyone listening can relate.
Yeah, dude, like it's so bad. And when you're at that level, it's like, oh, like, dude, you're tired. Like, you just need to work harder. I'm like, dude, I'm not out of shape. I am in the best shape I've ever been in. I promise you, I am not out of shape. But when some sort of problem you have in your arms or something, like it was so bad to the point I couldn't pull my clutch, couldn't pull my brake. Like, dude, it's bad. So I struggled with it all summer last year. And like, it was kind of hit and miss, like when it was good, when it was bad. And then when I started riding again, dude, it was horrible.
Because when Tomac was in here, he said that he gets it when his bike was doing a certain thing. Like if his bike got too low in the rear, like did you have any correlation for like bike setup?
When the forks would move up and down like a lot, you know, so I'd prefer a little bit of a stiffer fork, but not one that's going to sit up in the top of the stroke and sit there and like
come back at
me,
yeah.
like really like a lot, you know, like a harsh feeling. So for me, like I was on a really tight line there. Cause like there are sometimes I go and like I'd want to soften up a little bit. And whether I think the changes we were making, like the bike was just really sensitive to some changes. So like we'd make a little change and it feels like I'd hit a bump and my arms are like on the ground and then I come back and they're up like this. And dude, it just tires out your whole body. And then I'm having my arm pump problems. So I'm just smoked, you know? So just stuff like that. It was like such little changes I felt like I was making would just change the whole bike. So,
and what are we talking little change? Like 2 clicks, 1 click?
Like they would take it apart and change a couple things inside, like something they would say they're super, super minimal, or even if just going 2 clicks on suspension, like I guess I'm a pretty picky rider in a sense, or it's made me picky. I don't know, but just stuff like that, which it's like, it's not the bike's fault. It's not the team's fault. It's just stuff that, you know, we're working through, and, you know, they did a really good job catering to like my problems, and everyone on the team knew like my arm pump problems. Like it wasn't a secret. Obviously the outside world didn't know, but it's like, I'm not going to hide it from my team. Like it's something I can't control.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all that stuff. And then like I said, start riding again after my second knee, really struggling with it bad. You know, I remember there's a day, like I started riding Supercross and started getting back to normal. It was at the first of the year. This would have been like the week of like A1. So I'm riding Supercross with the boys. Do motos with Seth and Drew. Speed's fine, but I only have like 2 laps in me, and then my arms are fully locked up. Like,
that's so hectic.
I remember I was going through the whoops, and dude, I just like, I can't feel my hands, can't feel my arms. They're so pumped up, and I just pulled off and just went back. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna kill myself out here. Like, dude, it's dangerous. It's so dangerous. So, hopped on the phone with Truman. I was like, dude, like, this actually would have been, this would have been actually Friday or Saturday of A1.
I remember being around the boys.
Yeah.
Like being around when these conversations are going on.
We might have actually been riding Saturday, race day at A1. So I remember I called Truman. I was like, dude, like, I know you know people. Like, I can't ride. Like, I'm not going to be able to race if I'm going to go and probably not qualify because I can't last a heat race. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. Like, we need to get this thing fixed. So, yeah, 2 days later, South Carolina, getting my arms fixed. 2 weeks off the bike. Now we're 2 weeks before Tampa. Start riding again. Dude, amazing. I've never, ever had that feeling before where it just, my arms felt so loose. And
really?
Just like I could feel my levers. My arms aren't cramping, nothing. Like, dude, I just felt amazing. You know, and it's just like.
So what do the doctors say? They're like, so how's the surgery work?
So I don't.
They cut the fascia, right? So you have like, it's like a sausage.
Yeah. So I got both here.
Yeah.
So basically, the guy that I went to, Dr. Tanner, he goes in, and Dr. Tanner, I mean, tell everybody, he works on all the GNCC guys. He's the kind of the East Coast off-road guy.
Yeah.
So he's around those guys a lot, and obviously those guys are banging themselves up, hitting trees and shit. And so,
yeah, doing 2-hour motos.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been around it for a while, and he's very well respected. So so Dan talked to him quite a bit, and I think Dan knew him quite a bit just from Dan's Get stuff doing GNCC and whatnot.
Because he knows everybody.
Yeah, Dan knows everybody.
Yeah,
So, so it just, he basically goes in and they just cut the fascia. Everybody has a different method of doing it, but he kind of just goes in with I don't want to say the wrong medical terms here, but like he goes in with a scope or something and just kind of rotates around and kind of slices the fascia, so it kind of opens up everywhere, but very minimal abrasion. So, because you'll see some guys and it's like big scar up on top and on the bottom, like they've been completely sliced open, but mine's super minimal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did that, and then basically it was
2 weeks off the bike.
2 weeks off the bike. It was like a week of like, don't grab anything, like don't activate the muscles essentially, like just move your fingers and like kind of get the blood pumping a little bit.
So the browser got a bit of a rest that those 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got to take a little bit of break there.
That's so good.
But no, dude, like when I started riding again, it was amazing. Like then I remember riding Supercross. So I was cleared to go like 2 weeks on the bike. He was like, just if you feel anything, like no problem. But he's like, dude, you're fine to go ride. Do whatever you want. So I remember that would have been, I rode Friday, Saturday, the weekend before Tampa. First time on the bike.
Brand new bike.
2
days of Supercross.
Yeah. I don't even know what setting I had on the bike. It was a mix between what Trey came up with and what Joe was running.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people don't know, me and Joe run like, I wouldn't say completely different stuff, but he likes his bike a lot stiffer than I do, and like in different areas. Like, and then me and Trey are very similar, but obviously Trey's got to help develop a bike more towards Joe's liking.
Yeah.
So
just because he spent more time doing that because he was West Coast and riding.
Exactly. And then Trey's, dude, he's mixed in with the stuff he's doing for Japan, the stuff he's doing for the 450 team. Like, I don't know how Trey does it.
He's busy.
He's busy.
Yeah.
But
wait, isn't he the best dude too?
Trey is the absolute best guy I've ever been around.
Bro.
I love Trey. And dude, I've actually talked to Trey quite a bit just of like on the mental side. Like Trey's gone through some shit, you know?
Dude.
And dude, he's such a good guy, such a positive guy. And it's like the days that like I struggle at the track or like struggle at the races, and he can just visually tell I'm upset. He's like, dude, like it's coming, dude. Like just keep believing in yourself. Like you're there. Like he's like, we all believe in you. I believe in you. Just keep going. And like, once again, that's a guy that I grew up watching that I was a big fan of, you know, just for somebody to like, now it's like, it's a full circle experience now. Like he's
a fan of you
he's
and
in
he's
my
in your
corner,
yeah.
You know, like that's such a special thing to me. And it's such a cool feeling. And, you know, it gives you that confidence. It's like, this guy has won titles. He's a badass, you know, and super well respected in the sport. Everyone loves Trey. And he's telling me he believes in me. And he has confidence in me that I can go and win championships. Like, dude, that's that.
Yeah, it's huge.
That erases everything in that moment.
Yeah,
you know, like especially when, like I said, I had that much respect for Trey and just the love I have for Trey. Like, dude, he's just such a badass dude.
And then there's there's levels of respect that you would have had for him before you met him.
Exactly.
And then you meet him. And he's way cooler and better than you could have even imagined.
Always.
And then at the end, you're just like, this is literally the best dude.
Absolutely. And dude, even just the relationship that I've built with him over testing.
Yeah.
You know, he helped me a lot with testing when I was first on the team. When I was doing a lot of when I was factory connection and the team was factory Showa, like he'd help me with my testing and help me with directions there. And I'm still learning quite a bit. I was only 16 when I first got on the team. So it was really cool. He was super nice to me when we did that. And then we raced Mammoth together in 22. He smoked me.
That's so good.
But dude, like even this last year, like we've done a lot of testing, and we spent days out there, out at the farm, just testing. And, you know, he's out there with me. He's doing 250 stuff. He's doing 450 stuff. He's going between me and Joe. He's going between Jett and Hunter. Like, the man's doing it all of it. But dude, he just is. We go out there and like I test something and come back and I explain it first, and then he explains his side of it, and it's similar, but Trey can go more in depth with what I'm feeling, because obviously that's his job. He's done it for so long. He knows how to go in depth and explain it a little bit better. But it's helped me learn so much about the bike and learn how to translate this stuff to the crew. And I think ultimately over time, that relationship between me, Trey, the suspension guys, and our new suspension guy, Brandon, or he started this year, Brandon Shar, dude, he's a legend. Love the guy. And he's just, me and him work together amazing. And then Shane Drew is our crew chief now. It's like this circle that we have, dude, it's amazing. Like we've all been working so good together. And we all believe in each other. Like it's Shane Drew believes in me. Brandon believes in me. Trey believes in me. So when the three of us are sitting there, trying to develop this thing, and
because it's problem solving, right?
Exactly. And that's honestly like those days I love, like people hear, a lot of people dread testing, it's like, I've always been the guy that loved the technical side of racing growing up in the dealership.
Because you grew up working on bikes,
exactly,
and doing your own thing and seeing, like, you were born into that world.
Exactly. So I have the not that other riders don't have the appreciation for it, but like I have the appreciation level of it, just spending so many hours in developing something. And even if you develop something, it's good one week and then it feels like shit the next week, you go back and you keep working on it. Like they're always working on stuff that can be better, and then I'm trying to get myself better as a bike. So between me, myself, the rider, and then the bike, mixing those together, like, dude, you're always trying to be better no matter what. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about this sport. And like, honestly, that's what I've really enjoyed about working with this team.
Because you have like maybe the best team for that, like
Absolutely.
HRC is famous for having just unlimited resources when it comes to working on motorcycles.
Absolutely. And it's a little bit different being on the 250 side because HRC is pretty heavily invested in the 450 side. So we do get a lot for the 250 side, but it's not like there's still a lot of time invested in the 250 side, don't get me wrong, but it's not quite like the 450 side on Japan's perspective.
Yeah.
But they're still heavily invested in the 250 side. So that part of it's really cool.
We need to bring you a quick word from our sponsor, motosport.com. I got a YZ450F that I got some upgrades to do. You know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to need some help with customer service, so I'm going to chat with a gearhead. This box showed up. It has a 2007 KTM master cylinder, a Yamaha caliper, also 2007, and a Turner braided brake lines. I feel like this is a very good upgrade for $600. Need the old hanger, so we're gonna put a bit of grease on that and get it back on, bolt her up. Caliper has been done. Now this can just get bolted on. Now, shout out to Kiefer, who I think stole this off Doug Dubark. That was easy. Nah, that was easy. This is a pretty epic upgrade. You can get OEM parts to build this little Frankenstein brake kit, or basically anything else for any brand by going to motosport.com. So how much can you get done in 2 days of testing before Tampa on a brand new motorcycle?
So I guess, let's get back to that.
Not a lot, I'm guessing.
I guess let me finish my story though.
Yeah, sorry.
So Saturday before Tampa, go out and ride Supercross. I think I'm the only one riding actually because I got cleared to ride that week. So
and all the boys were racing.
all the boys. Well, Seth and Drew. I guess Drew would have raced A2. So Seth was there. It's a couple of the amateur guys that were there. They were sitting there watching. Burner's out there with me. I remember I did my first 15 lap moto, and my heart rate's like 210. But I had no arm pump, nothing. I was just digging the whole time.
That's sick.
Came off the track, almost passed out. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, it's the first, like, legit moto I've done since, I don't know, outdoors.
Yeah.
So Burner's like, dude, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm out of breath, but these things feel awesome, so I think I can work with this.
Dude, that must have been the biggest relief.
It was amazing. And I remember I was just clicking off fast times after fast times after fast times. And like, obviously I'm hurting, but I can hang on to my bike. So I'm like, I can take the heavy breathing. As long as I can hang on to my bike, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that was that Saturday. Took Sunday off. Monday, the team's getting there. Bike's getting there. Parts getting there. So Tuesday, Wednesday are my 2 test days. Sun up to dark. And
really?
we started at 9 o'clock, didn't get done till this would have been before daylight savings or whatever. So we got done at like 5:30 is when it was getting dark there. So, dude, just all day testing.
So where do you start?
So it just depends on what area you're kind of struggling with. So
we'll paint a picture for the listener that's never seen a full test day like that. So you've got a bike that you're riding.
Yep.
Do they bring you a new bike as like a test bike, and then you're like, okay, ride this. This is where we think you should be, or do you start with the bike you've already been riding?
So generally, what we do, sometimes they'll send a brand new test bike out, and you'll start fresh. Or the bike that I had at the time didn't have a lot of time on it because obviously I hadn't been riding, but for the people out there, you don't want to start testing on a bike that has 15 hours on everything or 20 hours on everything. Like the frame stretches, everything wears. So you're not getting the right height, the right reading from the height of the sag. You're not getting the right feeling of it when you're out on the track because everything just gradually over time stretches and it sits different. So the bike that I had probably only had like 5 hours on it. So I mean, it's next to brand new. It's at least broken in. So in that scenario, they'll just send a new set of suspension, whatever's on it, just the new base setting. So you start out, you go out, do, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, break the track in, break this bike in, and then kind of the team comes with a bunch of ideas, and essentially you start from, let's go down the front end path and let's go visit some couple things and we'll go from there. So my initial thing that I was really struggling with on this bike is the cornering. I felt like I'd get into the bowl corners and I'd get, like you'd load the front end coming into a corner, and as soon as you'd start climbing into the bowl, like it would get really high.
And when like unweight and push away.
Exactly. So when the weight would come off the forks, it just wants to just keep climbing, keep going straight. Where last year's bike cornered really tight, cornered really good. Like you could put that thing in any rut, corner it, no problem. But when you took it outdoors, just straight line stability wasn't as stable as the new bike. So it's kind of like old bike cornered really good, stability not the greatest, where now it's flip-flopped. It's like cornering, it's like all right, and stability is really good. So,
and it's very hard to have both at the same time.
Exactly. Like we're trying to make the perfect bike here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah.
So this is where, things start getting tricky though, because you're trying to get a bike that corners right, so you're trying to go softer, but you need a bike that's going to be able to hold up through the rhythms, through the whoops. Because if you get a bike that's too soft in the whoops, you hit one whoop and the front end compresses way too far, then when it unloads, it goes kind of straight up, and then the rear hits, and then the front end drops again. Instead of when you hit whoops, you watch any of the pros. I mean, Cole's probably the best guy to watch. He gets up on top, and it doesn't even look like his bike's even moving, but he's just kind of going across the top like this. Where if your bike's too soft on the forks, and then say your forks are too soft and then your shock's too stiff. Like you hit the fork and it gets really low, then it unloads, and then your shock hits and it doesn't even like go through the stroke and it just drops the front again. So you're not getting any drive. You're not getting any forward momentum through the whoops. So that's when the struggle comes in. You're trying to find the balance. So you stiffen it back up. It's good in the whoops. Then you get to the corner and you're just going straight off the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you get into a rhythm and it's like, you're trying to soften up for the rhythms, but then you get into a rhythm and it kind of goes through the stroke and then it unloads a little bit weird off the lip. So then your front end eye, or you get a little kick from the rear because the rear's squatting and then unloading up the lip. And it's a constant, it's
just like a push-pull the whole time.
Exactly. And like we fought that for a couple days and I never was really like happy with it going into Tampa. I think what we ended on was the best that we ended on for the circumstance being dealt. And we also knew going in, like, we're just here to race, like,
yeah,
no one really wanted me to race in a
sense.
sense.
So at this point, the team has basically said to you, like, hey, you've got a deal through the next couple of years. Like, let's not rush it. Let's not. But you felt like you needed to be on track racing. Yeah.
And what was cool about the team in that scenario, though, is as bad as I wanted to race, and at the end of the day, I'm in an investment that they're trying to protect. Like if I go out and get hurt again, like that looks bad on them. It's hurting my future. So like I absolutely understand from their perspective and they want the best for me. But for me, I felt like I couldn't wait. I mean, granted, I could have hopped in like halfway through the season, but I'm like, I wasn't feeling bad on the bike. Like, granted, like it's nothing compares to having like multiple days on the bike, but I didn't feel horrible. I knew I was in good shape, and it was my goal that I put in place to be ready. Like if you're going through something, like you need a goal to like you get ready for. Like that's what's gonna drive you, So I just told him, I'm like, hey, like if I get any weird feeling or if my knees bother me, I'll call it quits, but like I want to go give it a shot, and I believe I can go give it a shot and, be pretty good. So that's what we did. Go to Tampa, just kind of struggled with the bike a bit, made a really
that
big
track looks shit.
Dude, it was gnarly. It was like a sand supercross track.
Bro, first lap, I watched it with me and Griff, and I was just like, fucking track sucks, I hate it. And then, like, I think I actually went and watched my buddy Nixon do a jiu-jitsu comp, and I just started getting all these texts, like, no, Tomac, no. And I was like, fuck, I knew I hated this track.
Yeah. It was weird, though, because it was, like, some of it was really soft, and then some of it was just concrete.
Yeah, rock hard.
It was weird. But
and Malcolm just goes and just is the best rider on planet Earth on that one track, dude.
It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, I struggled in qualifying. Bike setup I was struggling with. We made a really big swing between Q2 and heat race. We're like,
yeah,
fuck it. We got nothing to lose. So
yeah.
Ended up working pretty good. At the time, I guess at the end of the day, it was a little bit of like a Band-Aid, but it was a direction no one had really went before. So we're like, fuck it, let's try it, and ended up working pretty good. I think.
What'd you do?
We changed just position of the races. So we just went really steep on it to help corner. Obviously,
dude, you know what's crazy? So I got a Honda 450, the 25, and I've got the FCP races in it.
Yep.
And it steepens everything out, so it moves the front wheel away, but it doesn't move the clamps forward, right? Yep. And so, in theory, it should make the bike turn way less and not as aggressively. But at least when I did it to my bike, it made the bike turn way quicker because I could put my weight on the inside of the bike and actually like use my weight to turn. Whereas when in the stock form, I felt like I was more turning with the handlebars instead of my weight. Mm-hmm. So the change that shouldn't affect the bike in that way, but it fully changed how that bike turned for me.
Yeah, and I think stock comes pretty steep. So sometimes when the forks are so steep, like it almost turns so quick.
Too much.
It almost turns too much to where like you feel like you can't corner it because it's like the front end like knives.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you rake out the forks, like it feels like, and you get a little bit longer wheelbase, sometimes it feels like the bike just like you're kind of in the sweet spot, like it feels like you can just get through a corner a lot better. And like we definitely feel the same stuff when we're testing and trying a bunch of different parts for sure. I guess what I was feeling was obviously like we have different races and like
you got
changes position.
You got
like
everything.
I can't really explain it, but like
you got all the shit.
Yeah, it changes so much different than just raking the forks out. Like it's so different. But basically like the change I made, it just made it a lot steeper because it was like the overall action of the bike was good. I liked it, but the problem is I couldn't turn. Like
so you actually made it steeper.
I made it steeper because I was like, dude, like I can't get the thing to turn. Like I get into a corner and it just wants to go straight. Like no matter how hard I lean.
Yeah.
Like I remember I came into a corner. It was a right-hander, and I was just so pissed because I couldn't get the thing to corner. I just laid over in the corner. I ended up tipping over, but I was just like,
I want to see what this thing does.
I was just like, dude, I need to try something. So I just came into it and just leaned over and ended up just tucking front. But yeah, just like we made that big change and it worked really good, especially at Tampa. So I think I ended up like third in the heat race or something.
Which that would have felt like a win.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Which was like, that was crazy though, because we had all those red flags. I'd never have a red flag since I've been pro. And so we got stopped in the heat race, and then we had a red flag in the main.
So were you in the heat race with Pierce?
I was in the heat race with Pierce, yes. So there's a privateer that crashed in the heat race off the finish line, and then Pierce crashed in the main. So yeah, we got stopped halfway through.
That's right. It was the main, eh?
Yep.
Yep.
So we got stopped halfway through the heat race, and then we got stopped halfway through the main.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and for me, it kind of worked out. You know, I got a little bit of a break. I was heart's pumping pretty good. So,
Yeah.
but ended up, I battled with Tom the whole time. I think we both kind of got shit starts. So we kind of just, actually, no, I got a good start. My sprint speed was horrible all weekend. I hadn't done a single sprint. So I actually started pretty good in the main, and I just kind of fell back a little bit. But yeah, I ended up battling with Tom the whole main. Like, we kind of came through the pack together a little bit because I fell back quite a bit far, and then we followed each other and passed a couple guys. I think we were behind McAdoo and Seth. So, yeah, I mean, 4, 5, 6, like somewhere in there. Like, dude, it was came off the track. Like, dude, I mean, 6th place. Like, you told me I was gonna get 6th place with how stacked East Coast was. Like, at the time, like, dude, everyone on the gate. I mean, there was Anstey, Pierce, Dax, Thrasher,
Kitchen,
McAdoo,
Seth,
RJ, Tom, me,
you.
the Triumph guys, Forkner.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the club guys. Like, dude, like, it was stacked.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, 6th place? Like, hell yeah, I'll take it. Like, I've ridden 4 days. Hell yeah. So
Including today.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like, get back. Team's pretty stoked. You're like, dude, like, we don't know if you could have done better, like, with the circumstances given. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. It's a win. You know, it's a good start. Detroit was another good one for me. Bummed I should have got a 5th, got 6th, you know. But Daytona was really good. Kind of slipped up, and my old training mate got me, freaking Seth. But
Yeah.
we went 3-4 that night. That was my best finish in a Supercross. So, you know, 3 races in, I got
that's crazy,
3,
eh?
yeah, 3 races in, got my best finish with the first my best finish as a professional in Supercross with, you know, 3 weeks under my belt. So
How much Supercross? Did you ever get to ride Supercross as an amateur?
I did, because I raced a Monster Cup on Super Minis
Yeah.
2 years in a row, 2018, 2019.
But you never really got to practice much.
So when we were on Team Green racing 250s, we never really got to. Like, it's not that it was frowned upon, but like no one really like cared to do it, I guess. Like, looking back on it now, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it really would change anything with how my stuff's been going right now, because like I felt like the prep I've done so far in Supercross, like I feel like I'm really good on Supercross, you know, just racing, it's a bit different, but like going and riding Supercross, no problem. So, I've never really struggled with it. But yeah, we did a lot of it on Super Minis, because when I did it in 2018, 2019, it was me, Ryder, Romano, Reynolds that were doing it in 2018, but I think Jett got hurt. So, yeah, it was just us 3 that did in 2018. And then 2019, it was me, Towers, and Ryder D. Ryder D got hurt.
Yeah.
So it was just me and Towers. So I did it those 2 years, and then it was done after that. But,
So
yeah.
it's not like you'd spent a ton of time on Supercross.
no, but I had the fundamentals down.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like the first day I actually like worked with Jake Weimer. We were at K2, one of the Cowie tracks.
Yeah.
And I'd ridden a couple Supercross tracks before then. I don't know if people will remember Bracken Hall, but
Yeah.
went out to his place up in Rose, somewhere out in Utah, out in the boonies. But went to his place. He was super cool to let me come out there and do a bit of training before Monster Cup. So we did that. Went up to local legend Cole Siebler. Went up to his place in Idaho.
Yeah.
Rode his track a little bit. That's when I first got like my toes wet on it a little bit. I think I would have rode the year before I did Monster Cup. So that was the first time I really got to ride Supercross. So, and he had a pretty legit, like, full-scale Supercross track, a little bit shorter than normal. Like, it was a little bit, it had, like, an extra lane. Like, it was, like, arena cross size with an extra lane. But it was, plenty good.
Yeah.
So, got to ride that a little bit. But, yeah, when I went to K2 with Jake, that was, like, that was the first time I was one-on-one with Jake. And also the first time I'd probably ridden a legit scaled Supercross track. Bracken's was good, though. His is legit, but K2 was pretty wild. It was up on the platform. All the 3-footers look like 5-footers. All the 5-footers look like shit, 10 footers.
Yeah.
Looking at the triple, I'm like, fuck, dude, that looks big.
Was anyone out there with you?
Just me.
That's
Just me.
That's hectic.
Yeah. So which honestly was probably the best thing for me. If I was out there watching people, like, I'm like, whoo. So it was nice. I got to take my time. I got to just do my thing. And nah, dude, I was fine. Like, never had a problem. Jake was worried, but Jake didn't know me, to be fair. I always kind of give him shit about it. I'm like, dude, like,
You
first
thought
day,
I was a scrub.
I was like, dude, you thought I was going to go eat shit. Like, you thought I was sketchy. He's like, dude, like, you can't blame me. Like, it's like, it was the first time. Like, I didn't know you could ride Supercross. So I was like, so I just sit there and, give him shit about it. But yeah, I went out there, doubled everything. There's Dragon's back on it. Dragon's back, no problem. Did the triples. Like, dude, I was fine. Just do my motos. I remember there was a Jake always talks about it. There was a table. It was an on off, and the first tabletop. So this would have been like after their full Supercross season. So the track was pretty worn down, and I think they were going over the first tabletop and downsiding it. So the end of the first tabletop was rounded off.
Yes.
So I was going on off. First time I did it, dude, I basically just frame cased going on to the next one. So for a while I was still doing it. Like, I wasn't even like, I don't know if it was me or if it was the tabletop. Jake would probably say it's just me. But like, I don't even think I was picking up to like get on to the next tabletop. I would just like, yeah, just put my frame into it and then step off the next one. So he ended up going out there with a rake and built me a ramp on the first one so I could get on off.
So when you guys hit, like, if you're going ons, are you like pulling up on the bike as well?
Yeah.
So it's like a bunny hop almost?
Yeah. So when you get on, you land on a tabletop, the bike compresses, so you get that little bit of bounce from it, but you also use your legs so you're gripping on the bike, so you pull up on it. If you can master like just using your legs to pull up on it, so you're not using your arms a lot, because if you use your legs, you can get onto the next one and almost like scrub off.
Yeah.
So the only place we've really had like a gnarly on off was Indianapolis 2024. I remember it was triple 90 right, and it was an on off, and the first tabletop was slanted down, and with how soft Indy is, dude, there's ruts on it. Holy shit. Dude, I remember I got on it, and they changed it from press day, so we got to do press day. Dude, everyone was struggling on it. Like, we got on it, and I was just like, yeah. Dude, and just, I almost like tire tapped getting onto it, because like, dude, I did everything right, but dude, it was so massive just getting onto the next one. I'm like, holy shit, like, how am I supposed to do this for a full main?
Dude, do you remember San Diego before the finish line this year? The on off.
Yes.
And Tomac just just wheeling.
Yes,
You're
yes.
like, bro, what?
So gnarly.
What game are you playing right now?
Beast mode.
Dude, that was legit beast mode that night.
It's so cool. It's so cool watching stuff like that.
Especially like the perspective that you would have with Jett too. Like, I'm sure you watching Jett race is a different experience because of all the context that you've got through the week.
Yeah, so it's different, like, and it kind of goes back to me like not showing up on the weekends, because it's like Jett is probably 2-3 seconds faster than me during the week. Supercross, it's a little bit closer, but like outdoors, he's definitely with 450 and everything. Like, it's a pretty big gap, and Jett being Jett.
Yeah.
So, but during the weeks, like, we'll have days where like I'm probably like a second off, like pretty good, and I'm riding good. So he's just kind of out there doing his thing, just logging laps, and then he goes the weekend and he's a second faster than everybody. Supercross, second faster. Like, second's a lot on Supercross track.
Yeah.
Second faster in qualifying, goes out, heat race wins main, like, just like no problem. Or he goes like Southwick this week and just won, no problem, just gone.
Fastest in every single sector in both motos, except HJ got him in one sector.
Mm-hmm. Dude, just legend.
That was like maybe one of the best Southwick rides of all time.
It was unreal to watch. I remember watching, I was like, damn, dude, like, he just, like, you can tell, like, there's something in his head. He's like, because like Jett, I would say 3 weeks ago, wasn't doing that. Like, I think something now in his head. I was like watching it, I'm like, that's the normal Jett that we saw go undefeated 2 years ago. Like, that, the Jett that everyone knows is back. Even though he's won everything this year, it's different. It's been different, but it was cool to watch that. And you can see how he was attacking and just flowing. Like, it's been different.
Man, I watched the the This Is Lawrence video have you watched the one from Southwick?
I watched the one from Croom. I haven't watched the one from Southwick.
Dude, Croom, yeah, that was sick.
The Croom one was funny.
But bro, there was some bits in it. Like I'm literally like screen recording and like sending it to my friends. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, there's this one section. He comes up. I've got it on my phone actually. I'll just show you. Like, look and tell me that this isn't. I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Like, click into that, and just like. Watch that, bro. He's literally, I'll send it to Griff and get him to put it on the screen. But he like comes over this jump, gets like 1 foot of air, rips a tear off, lands in holes, and then just pre-hops into the corner. And you're just like, and I mean, that's like 4th gear probably, you know?
He's just hopping around like he does, you know? It's just.
Isn't that mental, dude?
Dude, it's crazy when you sit there and slow it down. When you sit there and slow it down and watch it, you know? Because it's like, I watch that shit during the week, you know, and it's like I like sometimes I obviously don't get to watch him so ride at the same time, you know, and it's like I feel like I'm doing a lot of the same shit and like I'm going fast and he's, you know, just doing his thing. So, but then you go to the weekends and watch him, he just destroys everybody, and you're just like, damn, like he's fucking good. He's good, dude. Like it's I love those guys. Like Jett's like my Jett Hunter, like my older brothers. You know, I lived with Hunter for like 6 months. So me, him, and his wife Cynthia, like we're super close. Like we were on the phone the other day just bullshit, and they're trying to get details of my life and what I'm doing. You know? So,
yeah, I bet they are.
Yeah, they're just mom and dad me. So we always make jokes like, like you guys don't have to have kids. Like I'll just sell my house, I'll move back in, like just like how it was. And yeah, it's funny. Like I love those guys. Like I said, they're like my own parents, my own siblings. You know, and obviously he's been really there for me with my knee. You know, after going through. I think he's got a lot more perspective now going through it with the pain and, you know, the recovery that it takes. So he's been, you know, really there for me this time. And not just those guys, but dude, our whole group in Florida, like,
yeah, it's pretty epic what you guys have there. It's epic.
And then I got, you know, Burners checking on me every day. My guy, Jacob, checking on me every day. Obviously Dan doing Dan things and making sure I'm all right.
Yeah.
You know, and even like I got Hammer texting me, got Malott texting me, and, you know, Anthony at Fly, Dave at 100%. My gear gal, Sam, always checking on me. Big Sis checking on me. Like, you know, those people, even Christian Cap at Alpine Star, like, dude, those. Yeah. And then I'm going to the race shop, chatting up with the team while I'm here. You know, I love going there and hanging out with those guys. Like, dude, like, I really appreciate the relationships I have with these people. You know, it's like, it's more than just a sponsor. It's more than just these people that take care of me. It's like, genuine connections I've made with these people, genuine friendships that will last a lifetime, you know? Like that's so rare nowadays in these sports. I feel like so many people kind of just jump ship and
come and go.
Yeah, you know, like it's so rare. And I mean, my relationship with Fly Racing's been, you know, there's been a lot of people that have came and gone, you know, but one of the original guys there, he works for more on the WPS side than he does Fly, but I mean, it kind of all meshes together, right? So, but like he comes to the races very, very rarely. I'll see him at a race, but I'll sit there and bullshit with him. Like he remembers when my oldest brother was, you know, just a kid. So he's like really good family friend. And with those guys being in Boise, it's super cool. And just like dude, relationships like that, like it's so cool nowadays.
And it makes the job so much more enjoyable because it's like more than a job, you know, like it's a whole, it's literally your entire life goes into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you have a relationship, because obviously like, you know, people say like, it's a work environment, like don't get too emotional about it or, you know, like, but we're on a team here. Like we're all busting our asses to get one goal. You know, like everybody has a part to play and everybody's part is just as important as the other. Like I can't go race without my boots. I can't go race without my gear. I can't go race without my helmet, my goggles, you know.
What about the truck not getting there?
Exactly. We got Mike Spraker. He's a hard ass. And then Tom, sweetheart, dude. Yeah, we got those two guys, hospitality truck, race truck. Like gotta get the bikes first. Tom's cooking us food between motos, races, you know. Mike's taking care of everybody. Like, dude, without those guys getting there, we got nothing, you know? And then the whole team with the crew, like I said, Brandon Shar, Shane Drewski, my mechanic, Tommy, even my practice mechanic, C Brown, you know, like he's taking care of me during the week, and they're getting parts back and forth. Obviously my dad going to the races, making sure ship's steering in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then even on the 450 side, like all those guys, making sure Jett and Hunter's stuff is good, and like, dude, like we can't do that without those guys. Like everybody's role on the team is just important as each other's.
Yeah.
As everyone else's.
Yeah.
So that's what's so cool about Honda HRC as itself as a team. Like our vibes are so good under the team because we all want each other to succeed so bad. And it's like, it's hard when you see people kind of like, oh, the team favors Jett and Hunter, the team favors Chance over Joe, or the team wants Joe over Chance. It's like, we all like love each other, dude. Like, not to like make it all so emotional and shit, but like, dude, like we're such, like we're a family. Like I want Joe to go 1-1 this weekend, like I want to see the Honda back up on top. Like I want that to happen so badly for Joe, and Joe's a good ass dude.
Yeah.
I'd love being teammates with Joe.
Yeah.
And same, I want Jett and Hunter to go 1-2. Like I want them to go to demolish everybody. Like I want that for Honda so bad because like, dude, like I said, they're family. I care about them so much, and they've done so much for me. Like I don't feel like a lot of other teams want that for each other as much as we do, Granted, everybody does, but it's like, and I can't really speak for other teams, I guess I should say, because I've never been on a different team besides Team Green. But even at Team Green, it was the same thing, Like, obviously, some of us riders didn't really get along, but team personnel, like, we all loved each other, man. Like, it's a good group, and I'm still good friends with a lot of guys from Team Green. My old mechanic, Jan, like, one of my best friends, Chappie, driving the truck around, old Chappie. He's crazy, but I love the guy, Like, my old guy before I even met Jan, Travis Perry, like I'm still friends with him and still talk to him every once in a while. Ryan Holiday, like see him at the races, give him a hug and everything. I'm like, dude, I know I was your favorite on the team. Like, I know you didn't show it all the time, but I know I'm your favorite. Easiest to work with, and I was out of your hair all the time. But just awesome. Like the fact that you can walk up to these guys, I can walk up to them, have a conversation for 30 minutes. Yeah, it's rare. Yeah. Like there's not a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that just speaks. I think about your personality and your upbringing, though. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot to do with growing up the way you did in the dealership, around your parents in Idaho. Like, all of that stuff really plays into like what you're like now as a dude.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, obviously, I owe a lot of it to my parents for sure, but I think growing up the way I did it humbles you, or it either humbles you or you appreciate the little things in life, because I definitely do, especially now that I'm getting a lot more perspective in life and understanding how important these relationships are. And not that I, fake my way through relationships and, have someone like me more than like, than I like them. It's like I genuinely just, everyone that I have a relationship with, that I work with, like I genuinely just like, and like I'll go to the shop. I've been to the shop a couple of times since I've been here when I have time to, and I'll go bullshit with the mechanics and, go hang out in the engine room with the engine guys and, shoot the shit with them. And
well, that stuff's like valuable too. Like you can really get to learn more. Like there's a whole lot of knowledge that you can still absorb and take in, even while you're hurt, you are working.
Absolutely. And if there's anything like I can do, to help with the team, because obviously I'm sitting on the couch, I can't really do much, but if any of my past experience that I feel like is valuable can help the engine guys, like I'm going to give it to them, if they're willing to sit there and listen to me, like absolutely, and it's like I've talked about, I really wanted to build like an enduro bike to have an Idaho to trail ride, and it's like, if you guys ever want to, like, I have a personal bike there, if you guys ever want to like test some stuff on it, like, dude, I'll take a trail ride and, like I'm not going to hit any jumps or anything, so it's safe, like, test some shit,
build it up.
Dude, I'll do whatever you want, but just like stuff like that, like I enjoy that part of it, and I feel like they really enjoy it too, and they also really appreciate it.
Because not every rider is like that. And I guess, like hopefully you can keep it through your career, but, like obviously guys get older and they get a bit more jaded, but I think there is a way to keep that enthusiasm through your career, and it just comes down to like at the base of it, the humility and perspective of like just how cool it is that you get to do what you do.
Absolutely. And but for me, it keeps it fun. That's what I grew up doing. I grew up racing moto, grew up racing off-road, grew up trail riding. Like I did so much different
the
types
trail
of
riding
riding.
Is the best.
It's so fun. I love it. And when I was on mini bikes, I hated it. All I want to do is go ride the track, but now all I want to do is go trail ride, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun. And it's like, I actually got to go trail ride when I was back in Idaho. I took my practice mechanic C Brown up there because he's from Pennsylvania. So he's grew up trail riding, but it's different. Like, it's
Different
so different.
dirt, different, yeah.
Yeah. So I took him up there and dude, he was loving it. And like that part of the experience too, like I got to show him like where I grew up. Like I knew he was going to love it. Like if you love dirt bikes and you love trail riding, dude, you'll love where I live. Dude, it's beautiful. And so I took him up there and he's like, dude, this is amazing. Like we got to get in a little bit of snow too. We both crashed in some snow. Like, dude, it's like shit like that. It's a lifetime memory. Like I'll never forget that day. He'll never forget that day.
And there'll be a day where you won't race pro anymore, and that's still there, waiting for you.
Exactly.
You know?
I can go up and ride the trails until the day I die. You know.
Yeah.
That, like you said, that'll always be there for me. Like it's helping me enjoy what I do as a job right now, because when all you do is your job, you're gonna get sick of it. And like I said, like where I've been through a few dark times with my knees, like dude, it just you start losing the love for it. And when you're so deep into it all the time, testing and like, especially like, obviously I struggled through Supercross this year and struggling with the bike. And then it just, everything kind of escalates and it's like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Like I'm riding during the week. I'm not feeling great.
Well, that's when I think what you were saying before about like you put in the effort in, but you're not getting the results out. Like, and that's the thing. It's not like you don't like riding, but it just starts to like hurt you that
exactly
you're putting all of this in. And it's like a relationship, right? Like if you're putting all this effort into this one person and then they literally give you nothing back, that hurts. And then it starts to build up resentment. I feel like it can be the exact same thing towards work or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's honestly the best way to put it. You know, like I try to, you know, it's hard when I have people coming to me. It's like, dude, you're living the dream. You know, it's like, you know, as much as I want to sit there and it's like, you just don't understand like what we're going through. Like at the end of the day, I could be back at the shop working on side-by-sides. I could be working on snowmobiles. I could be running a sales. I could be running a service counter. Like at the end of the day, yeah, what I'm going through isn't fun, but I'm doing a damn cool job for being 20 years old. You know, like at the end of the day, like it can always be worse. I could be at war right now. I could be in the military right now. I could be going to school right now. Like, not a lot of people get to do what we do and, you know, get to make money racing their dirt bike. So,
yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what's kind of what you have to lean on, you know? Like, even though there's times like, dude, it does suck. And there's times like, I just want to quit, you know? Like, I just want to be done. Like, I'm over the pain. I'm over, like, the suffering of it. But you think about those days and you think about, I just look back on everything my mom sacrificed to all the weekends she stayed home to take care of everything so my dad could take us racing. All the days, everyone at my dad's shop, you know, trying to put the fires out when my dad's gone and my dad's on the phone trying to put the fires out while he's with me at the races. And, you know, I'm not doing very good at the races. And it's just like, I look back at all those times when he just kept believing in me and everyone at the shop believed in me and my mom believed in me. You know, they could have pulled the plug. They could have just been done. But they didn't. They believed in me. And I look back on that and it's like, I ain't fucking quitting, you know? Like all this shit that I'm going through, it's nothing, you know? Like those guys fucking believed in me and they still believe in me no matter what. I could do 7 knees and they'd still believe in me. And I look back on that and it just erases everything. It's like, keep digging, dude. Like, you're going to get this one day. Like, no matter what people can say you're done. People can say your career's over, no matter what, but we believe in you. No one knows you better than me. Just keep plugging away, dude. Like, it's just another bump in the road. It's just another thing that makes the story sweeter.
Yeah, and you can learn so much through this time too, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's like there's as much as it sucks, like there's always a lot to take out of the bad times, you know. And there's, whether it's perspective, it's just knowledge, like there's hunger that builds up. Like there is a lot to take, and I think that it's when you go, the shitty thing is that you've had to go through it a few times, you know,
Yeah.
because you could be like, all right, this is the one where I'm done. And you do one knee and you're like, I got all the lessons. I got everything out of it. Now let's go. But it's like, you know, once you go through, dude, you got to win. Like you won in Supercross this year. Like your best result was a 4th at Daytona. And then fast forward a couple weekends and you've got a Supercross win. And then Colorado 1-1, like super dominant 1-1. So it's like there is a lot that comes on the other side of the shitty times.
Absolutely. And that's how you got to look at it too. You know, it's I actually remember I was with Dan and I was like, dude, like 2025 has been such a shit year. And he's like, I actually think it's been a great year. You know, he's like, you got your first Supercross win. And even though people say it was in the mud, it wasn't real, dude. That's real. Like, paycheck still hits the same, you know?
Yeah, bro.
So
yeah.
he's like, you had the most dominant day of your career or anyone's had in a long time at Thunder Valley. Like, not a lot of people can do what you just did at Thunder Valley. He's like, dude, like, you learned a lot this year. You learned a lot about yourself. You did a lot of cool shit. Like, hang your head on that. That's good. You know, and it's like not just Dan too, but same with Jacob. You know, Jacob's got my back and Burner's got my back. He's like, damn, dude, it's like you've got the shit kicked out of you a little bit, you know, but like, dude, like you've done some cool shit and everyone still believes in you. Everyone, no one's doubting you one bit. You know, we're here for life. So let's keep plugging away, and it's just another bump in the road. You know, it's without those 3 guys in my life, Burner, Jacob Hayes, Dan, even Malott reaching out. Like all the people I listed, Anthony. I talked to Anthony the other day, Dave, Sam, Christian Cap. Like, dude, without those guys reaching out, you know, and you know, being like, dude, we believe in you. Like, we're here for you. You can come stay here if you need to. Like, anything you want, anything you need. Like, dude, like, just keep plugging away. That's all you can do.
Yeah. How many of your New Year's resolutions have you been able to keep so far? I've been able to keep on track with my daily nutrition habits as I'm still starting off each and every morning with AG1 the same way I have for years. 1 scoop a day or one of the convenient travel packs when I'm away at the races make it really easy to stay on track with my health goals. For me, the benefits of taking AG1 every day are super clear. Firstly, it just sets the day off on the right foot. Secondly, after years of taking AG1, I know how good it is for my digestion and overall gut health. My skin is clearer and my hair and nails are healthier. I love that AG1 is NSF certified for sport, meaning it's been independently tested for quality. When it comes to my health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/gypsytales to start your new year on a healthier note. The knee stuff. Have you heard of the knees over toes guy?
Me and Malott talked about it.
Yeah, I was talking about this with him the other day as well.
Yeah.
Bro, his shit is like unreal. So do you know Jeff Walker?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro, so you should actually talk to him. So he had a bunch of knee problems and then he started doing the knees over toes stuff. And then I think he started doing a bunch of like the shoulder rehab shit too when he did his shoulder. But yeah, he reckons it completely changed his whole deal. And he reckons that it's like bulletproofed his knees now. Like it honestly, once you're in that rehab phase, like because you guys aren't exactly doing like a bunch of knee stuff unless it's like you've got injured. Like there's not a lot of pre-knee injury stuff, right?
Well, it's also hard too when you're riding because like compared to like a football player or a basketball player, like you're really not using, like you're not cutting routes. You're not like making quick steps. Like you're moving up and down with your legs, you know? So it's like in reality, unless you dab your leg, like you're not really doing anything too crazy with your legs. That's like, you know, threatening to like pop a leg out or something. Obviously when you catch it or dab it, like I've done, or obviously other people have done. But that's another thing I've also been learning when I'm doing these knees. It's like there's new techniques that are coming out every year. There's new machines that you can use every year. Like there's something being developed every year that people have come out with. Like I'm starting to use some new stuff that I didn't use last year that I had no idea about, you know, like stuff that you learn after each injury. It's like, okay, I did this. What else can I do to increase, you know, increase the benefit? Like, what can I do that can be almost like quicker in a sense. Like, not that I'm in a rush to get my knee back this time, you know, like if I can be riding by October 1st, which is like 14 weeks total, like perfect. But what can I do just to have my goal in place? Like, what can I do in the next month that can get me there? And like, I can get cycling, doing gym, like no problem.
Yeah.
So like, I've kind of been going down the rabbit hole trying to figure things out. And obviously I've been working with Doc G, and I got him doing his program, and it's been really good. And it's jump started that, and doing what I've started doing now, it's also been really good. You know, you learn those things about yourself. You learn how your body takes stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also just learning how to take in that information and what to do with it.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of studying, a lot of sitting down. It also helps with the connections I have with people, or the people I have connections with, than the people they have connections, you know?
Yeah.
So obviously Dr. G has a lot of connections. With the help of Jett, Johnny O, they have their own connections too. So being able to use those as well, it's, you know, really cool. But that's the part I do enjoy about recovering from a knee. Is
It's like you really go to school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to learn about this stuff. It kind of goes back to like enjoying the technical side about dirt bikes. I enjoy learning the technical side about knees, you know? And like, I spent a lot of time talking to my doctor that did my knee about this stuff. I'm like, what other like techniques are you doing? Like, why? Like, because I did the same exact procedure on this knee that I did with my left one, and it was same tore my ACL. It's just same stuff. He had to put a few stitches in my meniscus, which was different from my last one. But I was just like, we went 75 questions on the last knee, you know, so there wasn't a lot of questions this time around. But we're like, why do you do this procedure? Have you done a different procedure? Why are you like why are we doing X, Y, and Z? Why not A, B, C? Why? Like, you kind of go through all that, and it's like, when the doctor is like spot on with everything, you know, and doesn't slip up, nothing, not once, doesn't stutter, you're like,
yes, my guy.
This guy's fucking good.
That's my dog.
Yeah. So as soon as this happened, shot Doc a text. I'm like, hey, I'm getting an MRI tomorrow. Can I send you results? Got the results, upload them to that night. Hey, ACL's torn. Let's hop on a call tomorrow. Get things figured out. Hop on a call with all the boys. Hey, we're going to do this. We saw this online. What do you think about this? I've read a case study of it. It has a higher percentage of tear rate. This method's also came out, but it's still not really, not a lot of results with it, you know, all that. And then he's like, as long as you guys are comfortable with it, like, I want to do this procedure just like we did. And I'm like, I've had nothing but good stuff with my last knee. I trust you. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, but like, I like doing almost like the interrogation part of it. It's like, why are we doing this? Why this way? Why not this way? I know this guy does it this way. Why don't you do it that way? So,
is he the same dude that did Jets?
No, different guy. So this guy did Christian Craig's last year. RJ actually sent him to me.
Yeah.
Or sent me to him.
Yeah.
So when I pulled out Nations last year,
RJ knows a bit about crashing, so fucking good guy.
Hey, he tucks and rolls pretty good though. Yeah. Knock on wood for RJ, but he tucks and rolls pretty all right. So, but yeah, RJ sent him to me. He's like, dude, he's like, I've had nothing but good. He's like, I was running at 4 weeks, and he's like, I'm like, dude, what? Running at 4 weeks with a knee? So yeah, RJ sent him to me, and he's just been, Doc's been really good.
That knees over toes guy, he's in Huntington Beach.
Really?
Yeah. I reckon it's worth reaching out.
Oh, absolutely.
Apparently, like, he did a Rogan podcast. Like, you could go and like listen to it or whatever. But yeah, I remember when Jeff was going through stuff with his knee, and it's just a lot of like slant board squats, and you know, like, so a lot of his movements is like forcing the knee to go past the toe point, and then you've got all of the muscles around the quads.
Yeah, it strengthens the muscles around the front of the knee. And
Yep. So
all the kind of like stability.
Yeah, because you're right. Like, you're not, when you're doing motocross, like, there isn't a lot of knee twisting and rotate. Like, they'll suck to the bike. Like, so there is a lot of stability there.
Yep. Until
there's not.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's almost like with guys like yourself that have, you know, you've obviously got issues with knees fucking breaking. So it's like, this probably is a case for you to just like really overkill the rehab and strengthening on those knees, like, not for the bike side, just purely for the injury prevention side. And I wonder too, like, I'm going to get all woo-woo Rhino conspiracy, right? I stopped wearing knee braces after Rhino. I did the podcast with Rhino.
Yeah, you're gonna see me floating on I'm gonna be up in the rocks,
You're gonna
just floating.
Have you seen the dudes that like get their nuts and fucking slap their nuts and like base their asshole
It's
to the
gonna
sun?
activate your third eye.
Yeah, that's what you need to do, bro. You need to just point your asshole to the sky and just take it in, dude. Noon to noon. But I think like there is something to what he's saying though about like when you do wear braces, especially while you're like actively riding the bike.
Yep.
I feel like it just takes away the need for the muscles in your knees and shit to actually engage. So like I think there's something to that, you know, and it's almost like whatever you're bracing, you're like not weakening is probably not the right word, but you're not actively strengthening it. So you think like all the reps and riding that you're doing on the bike while wearing braces is like being protected in a sense from the movement. And but you know, like Barsha doesn't wear knee braces. He just hurt his knee. You wear braces.
Yep.
You hurt your knee.
Yep.
So it's like I don't even know.
It's such a like weird area because I've had conversation about it now. You know, I've done it. I've wore 2 different brands of knee braces. Well, 3 total, but I did both my knees, or I guess I did 2 of my knees in the same one. Did my current knee in a different one. My current one was custom fit to me. So like I said, still tore it. But like even, you know, my doctor said, and like everyone kind of knows this, like once you get like that right, like pressure and movement on, he's like, nothing's going to protect it, you know, but it's like, I kind of sit there and think about it.
What's his thoughts, your doctor's thoughts on knee braces?
Obviously, it's hard to ask doctors that kind of stuff because it's like, the
Do
more
they
braces,
really
the better.
know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think my doctor knows for sure, but he's also not going to tell me I can ride a dirt bike at 10 weeks, you know, like just for their own kind of, you know,
liability.
Yeah, their own kind of liability. So he's not going to tell me don't wear knee braces, you know. So he's going to get the custom fit knee braces to you with the most protection. Like that's any doctor's going to go that route. So I kind of just stray away from asking those questions, you know. But my doctor's cool, you know. Like especially last year, I was like, hey, like I'm on a time crunch here. And thank you. I'm like, hey, I'm on a time crunch here. Can I be riding at 11, 12 weeks?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to tell you can't, but he's like,
but I'm not going to tell you can.
Yeah. He's like, just understand there's a level of risk there. And he's like, ideally, if you can wait to the 14-week mark, and that's when I would start really like, you know, comfortably like pushing it. He said up until then, because when I was riding at 11 weeks, this would have been like start of December. He's like, just take it easy. Don't dab your leg. He's like I said, just, you know, there's a level of risk there. Risk reward. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. Just be careful. All right. And that's exactly what I did, you know? So, but that's what's cool when you have a doctor like that understands like the situation.
Athlete.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And the doctor I worked with, he works at Vanderbilt University. He's worked with multiple collegiate athletes, went to school, I believe, in Pittsburgh, some stuff with the football team there. Like, I feel like anytime a well-respected doctor works with collegiate athletes, you know, football players, basketball players, no matter what, like, to me, that's...
Yeah, you have to know what's up.
Yeah, you have to, especially when it comes to knees, you know, and I'm a big football guy, so I love watching their recovery, and their recovery stuff is insane. Like the amount of machines they use and what they have access to, like it's unbelievable what they use. And it's like, why don't we bang our bodies up every day, every race weekend? Like, why don't we do this? You know, it's like, you kind of sit there, but it's like their technology advancement, there's a lot more money in it. Like, there's
hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars more.
Exactly. So there's so much more like access to that shit than we have, you know, but yeah, like back to the knee braces thing, there's something about, I think, limiting your body to its natural, you know, rotation or just the way the body just naturally moves. I think there might be something to it to where limiting it is a negative for sure. I think in some spots, I mean, because everyone did it with the neck brace. You know, it's like, does it save your neck from breaking or does it break your collarbones? Like, does it like?
Dude, I broke 3 collarbones wearing a fucking neck brace.
Yeah, I mean, I used to wear a neck brace too, and like
Yeah.
I like never had a problem with it. Like they were always good to me, and you know, like when I kind of like, hey, I don't really want to wear a neck brace anymore. They're like it's cool, like because I was sponsored by a company that you know that made them. So so it.
And
like,
again, there's probably 2 and 4. Like, there's probably times it's going to save you, and there's probably times
absolutely,
that it's going to
but
not.
it's the same thing with the knee braces too. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
if I was wearing knee pads, would it have been different, or would I have done the same thing? My brain tells me I would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
But my brain's also telling me that the knee brace isn't really saving it.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Have you
How
ever
do you
worn
know?
without it? Have you ever rode without it?
never have.
Dude, maybe go for a trail ride.
Yeah, I think I was definitely gonna try it. You know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt to try, and especially trail ride and stuff. Like it doesn't hurt. You know, Hunter wears knee pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done his knee, done both his knees and knee braces, worn knee pads, and he's had no problems with it.
Jett
you
wears
know?
braces, eh?
Jett wears braces. Yes.
The you know the crazy thing, so it was so funny, dude. Like I think we put it on like a fucking vlog or something at some point. But I literally did the pod with Rhino, and it was when I was in Australia. So like we had the Aussie studio, and literally around the corner is MX Store, which is like motosport.com for Australia. I fucking left the studio, I drove to MX Store, and I bought some knee pads, and I literally never went back. Never worn them.
I've heard
never
that.
put a
I've
set
heard
on
the
again.
feel is amazing.
You know what's crazy, dude? I could feel my feet.
Really.
So in 2019, I went to Townley's place. Have you ever hung out with Townley? I had much to do with him.
So he came to the farm, brought his kids to the farm. I've just met him very briefly. Very briefly.
He is the man. Like, dude, outside of bikes, fucking funniest dude of all time, right?
That's awesome.
But anyway, so 2019, I go riding at his place, and he's like, dude, you got to start riding on the balls of your feet. You got to do this. You got to do that. So there was like 2 years where I pretty much didn't use my rear brake because I was trying to like learn how to ride on the balls of my feet.
Right.
And then, so at that time, I'm like still wearing knee braces, do the pod with Rhino, ditch the knee braces, get the TP 199s. I think actually I bought like Liat knee braces actually because I didn't have TP 199s. And they're still in my shed in like here. So I've been running the Slaco ones now. But I remember the first time I did it, I just could feel my feet more. And I'd been like trying to ride on the balls of my feet a lot more. And dude, just instantly changed how I felt I could contact the motorcycle. It was crazy.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I would say hey, this is not professional advice. I'm not a doctor, obviously. I'm an idiot podcaster. But just a little trail ride. But yeah, I mean, at least my theory with it, because knees are real bad in jiu-jitsu too. Like a lot of people in jiu-jitsu do their knees. And which like, luckily I've got one, I reckon my meniscus is torn or something. So like in one of my knees, because I can't do like heel to my ass.
Right.
Like it really hurts the outside of my knee when I do that, but it's been like that for a couple of years. But a lot of people in jiu-jitsu do their knees, and a big thing that I focused on to try and help that is like hip mobility, because I feel like your knee, like ankle rotates, pressure goes to your knee, and if your knee starts to rotate, the pressure goes to your hip. So like everything works up the body, right? And
The whole body connects as one. Like it moves as one for sure.
Yeah. So like I worked a lot on like my hip mobility and rotation, right? There's this dude on YouTube, Tom Merrick, his name is, and he does like these hip, he does like full body mobility exercises, but he did this 20-minute hip routine, and I fractured my hip in 2020. I just had a fucking stupid crash running a bike in. And then my hip was fucked. And in jiu-jitsu, it's like a big thing to like use your feet to like, circle back inside. So you've got to have this hip mobility. So dude, COVID, I just was like locked in. I got rid of my TV. I had mats all over my living room floor. And I just was like foam roller stretching and like hip mobility for like probably 6 months to get back to training.
Right.
And there was some times where like riding, put my foot down, felt my knee tweak, but like you can feel it go up into your hip. And I was like, dude, I actually, call me crazy, but I kind of
Mate,
feel
you
like
can
there's
feel it,
something to that whole thing of just like really having good mobility in your hips, and it kind of like preventing a lot of the twisting that goes on in your knee, because you would probably feel pretty locked up in your hips from the amount of riding and cycling and up
cycling,
and down that you
cycling
do.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of not really stretching and doing yoga like I should. I actually got on a pretty good yoga routine lately, but yeah, I mean, just all the years of cycling and training and just not stretching, all the years of doing gym and not stretching, like, dude, it adds up. And looking back on it now, and it's like, honestly, like, I hate stretching more than I love doing gym way more than stretching, and like I just hate just sitting there and doing
Really?
it, like I actually got to where I was really enjoying yoga. When I had Dylan Wright staying with me, we were both doing it. Like every night we had a routine. We'd do like an hour, and it was awesome, But I actually started noticing a difference with like my hip flexors and my hips, because I have really tight hips. So
Tight hips.
Yeah.
The knee starts to go, and then you can't,
Yeah. I'm
That's a stone.
I'm not calling you crazy.
No.
That's honestly really true. Like, it's just,
I want to see you do well. I want to see you succeed.
I appreciate that.
So
I
this is
appreciate
just
that
this
a
is
lot.
me. This is whatever I can offer. I'm saying knees over toes, and I'm saying some hip mobility.
I don't write anything off, man. I mean, I'll
At
try
this point,
anything.
yeah.
Dude, I mean, even that's how I've always been. Like, I'll try anything, dude. I don't care.
So all right, sun your asshole. Knees over toes.
I need to go on like a week, just fall face the earth like Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
Do some crazy
ayahuasca,
shit.
Yeah. I think the big thing, I fucking love stretching. Since I don't stretch as much since I stopped smoking weed. Getting stoned and stretching is like,
It's amazing.
bro, that's like one of the best experiences that a person can have, I think. But since I stopped that, don't stretch as much. But I think you really need to create like a sick environment for stretching.
Yep.
So at least this would be my advice, is like have a really sick space where you're not like having to unroll shit every time, and like just have it there,
show
have
up
it
and it's right
open,
there, and
speaker right there, some incense burning, some cool light, like whatever you got to do to like turn it into a vibe, and just spend time in there, And like the other massive thing for me is the lacrosse ball. Do you ever do any of the trigger point stuff?
I do. I have a tennis ball.
Dude, get a lacrosse ball. Tennis ball's not hard enough. Bro, does it hurt with a tennis ball?
Yeah.
Dude, you're fucked up.
I am fucked up,
Yeah,
dude. I race dirt bikes and I'm fucked up.
dude, lacrosse ball, man, there was a point where, like, when I first started doing a lot of the hip stuff, because I had, I tore that, it was like a degloving injury, it's called. So I fractured my hip. It's fucking the most embarrassing crash ever, right? I got a brand new 350, brand new steel frame. Everything was rigid, tight. I've been riding this old thing that was just like so clapped. You could land sideways off a jump and the bike would just go straight. And so I was just like doing a little slow lap, and I got kicked off a little double. And dude, when I landed, I just didn't respect it. I was just like, it's fine, And it was like a rubber band, dude. The bike just snapped on me. And then there was a double right after it. And I was just like, oi, fuck. Like, got caught off guard, spat me off the next double. And I just went straight up in the air and landed straight down. And it tore the skin. I'll send you the x-ray, bro. It tore the skin off my ass muscle, and a whole cavity filled up with blood.
No way.
Bro, it was my dick was black. Like, from all the blood that was just going down from
shit.
Yeah. And so anyway, long story short, it turned into like a cauliflower ear, where like you rip your ear and then it fills up with blood and then it goes hard. So yeah, all my lower back was completely cooked. So yeah, I just had to get this lacrosse ball, dude, and like on tiles so that there was no give at all in the surface.
Right.
And just like working it, man. And it was the most brutal thing ever. But you can you get the ball and you just get all around, like you can feel like your hip like your hip socket and where your femur goes into it.
Yeah.
And you can just release like all of those muscles in there. It makes like the biggest difference. I swore by it forever and I don't do it enough now. But for me to come back from that, because I just wanted to get back to doing jiu-jitsu, and dude, I spent like hours and hours and hours, and it made the biggest difference.
Dude, there's like, I remember when I was doing a bunch of yoga. Yeah, me and Dylan were doing it, and it's like it does make a lot of difference. But it's one of those things like you have to be committed to it. Like you can't just do it every once in a while. Like you got to do the days, because you got to do a lot of days in a row. Yeah. Obviously, it's only gonna start making a difference when you start doing all those days in a row. Yeah. Like you can't just do it once and be like, I'm all right, I'm good for a week. You know, like I stretched out pretty good. I did like 15 minutes of stretching, I'm good. Then proceed to go do another 6 hours worth of gym and shit. So. Oh man, and the amount of like the grind that you guys put on your body, like I just did a week at Star. I did one gnarly workout with Swanee. Mm-hmm. I did a recovery day, and then I rode. And then I did a core day. I was fucked. And it's like, obviously you guys are conditioned. Like I just jumped in and did it, and I train a little bit, but not like that. Yeah. But I mean, dude, there's a lot of wear and tear that you guys, and I know you're probably completely over it by the time you actually get home. But yeah, I feel like making like a little sanctuary for yourself and like making a zone where it's like very dedicated to that would just make the biggest difference. And I can feel now, so like I can't sit with my legs crossed. So like when we're at the gym, you're like getting the instruction or whatever, and you're just like sitting on the ground. I can't cross my legs. So I can feel on the outside of my knee, that's where like whatever little tear's going on. So, and then I feel it straight away in my hip. So it's like those two joints are just like super, super connected. So I reckon if you've got crazy tight hips, then get a lacrosse ball and just fuck yourself up, dude. I got a lot of time to do it now. So. Yeah, so true. And you could probably do some tests on your good leg too, Like you should probably do some kind of like hip mobility testing and see where you're at, and then just do it on that one leg as part of your recovery and see what kind of like gains that you can make. And then you'd be able to do the lacrosse ball in your hip now that's got the... So, I mean, there's a bunch of progress I'm guessing you can make. Yeah, and it definitely... I've been stretching a little bit now just because it helps with everything that's already kind of bunched up together after surgery. Like, the more you can keep that shit kind of loose, like, it helps, for sure. But, yeah. What's also cool, like, one of the cool things about having the off time I have right now is I can also work on my left leg. Now that I have two bad knees, so... I can spend the time and do a lot of recovery on it and get that thing stronger. So, because it was always a little bit. Well, you're on the weaker. Back foot, yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit weaker than my right one for sure, but also my right one was perfect. I had nothing wrong with it. So, that was God given. Like nothing's better than what God gave. Yeah, fresh. So, exactly. Yeah. So. Just playing catch up with that thing the whole time. Like you end up favoring one side, so it's one side's overly tight or one hip flexor's overly tight. Yeah. And it's if you're not on top of it stretching it, then it becomes a problem. I remember multiple days cycling, like it'd start pulling. Like I had a really tight IT band and it'd start pulling into my back a little bit. I'm like, dude, like what did I do to my back? And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, dude, like my hip flexor and my IT band are so tight because I'm not stretching it, and then it's starting to pull into my back. Like you need to take better care of yourself. Yeah. There's do you remember the name of the that mat that I got? What's that really good one that I bought? Oh. Literally, dude, I bought this mat. Fuck, what's the name of it? No, I didn't buy it off Amazon. It might be in a photo on my phone. So like a grounding mat or like a... It's a stretching mat. Fuck. It is, bro, it cost me $130. So it's like, you get the yoga mats? It's something like that. Go to that thick, go up to that blue one. Go down. That one there. It's like this. I'll send it to you. So it's just like a thin gym mat or like a... It's basically like a wrestling mat. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so open up one of those. But dude, it cost me like $130. I couldn't believe it just got recommended to me on like a ad on Instagram. I'll find it and I'll send it to you, bro. But like a normal yoga mat fucking sucks to stretch. Like
yeah.
I'm not a fan at all
Yeah,
of stretching
they
on.
suck.
They're dog shit. But this thing, I got this thing and it rolls up into like a, like a big, it's not as convenient, but man, full game changer.
Really?
Like that to me, I reckon if you got something like that, it would completely change the experience of stretching. And now like our garage has 10 by 10 of actual like wrestling mats. So I've got like a massive place to stretch, but yeah.
No, I've definitely seen these before because I remember like when I was back in school, like in the gym, they'd have all those for like wrestling because they do all the team wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are sick.
Do you ever wrestle at school? I reckon you would have been a good wrestler.
Dude, I'm small.
That's all right. They got weight classes.
I never really got into like any sort of like martial arts, combat, nothing. Like I wish I would have did some when I was a kid though. I wish my dad would have made me.
Did you do football or anything?
I wanted to play football. I really love football. I was just a recess guy. Never played any team sports. My dad wouldn't let me because it's like, you gotta pick and choose, bud. You racing dirt bike? You riding dirt bikes, or what are you doing? Which at the time, like all I want to do is ride a dirt bike. I look back on it now, I'm like, damn, like I wish I would have played a little bit of football or something, or wish I was like a foot taller and could have played football, But it was just the one sport I enjoyed. Something that was like a little bit natural for me. Obviously now, like I suck, but I still sucked. But it was just something fun I could do. I liked running around. I was pretty fast when I was a kid, so faster than everyone else I played with. So it was easy to run a ball.
That's sick. What position did you play? Well, like, I guess you're not playing positions as much, but at school.
Yeah, when we were at school, I mean, shit, I was kind of did a little bit of everything. Like, of course, you like to catch the ball, you like to run the ball. So I couldn't throw. So anything that I didn't have to throw, I'd run it, I'd catch, I'd do anything, block, I don't care. So we got a football banned a couple times because we were being too rough. Can't wrestle. We had to play 2-hand touch, but yeah. Like gets a little fiery out there. Yeah, shit happens.
So I want to go back to the dog pound for a second.
Okay.
So we were there for a bit, and how did that come about? And did that's got to be, because it's pretty exclusive, right? Like there's only only a certain amount of room. Like that's one cool thing at the Lawrences. It's like, I guess it's for them first, right?
Yep.
So they're not going to do anything or take anyone on that is going to like impact their training. And from what I can see, it's like you got those guys, you got you, Seth and Drew, and then there's some amateur guys underneath. But it's like, it's very exclusive. It's very hard to get into. Once people are there, they're not really leaving, so spots don't really come up. But yeah, you got like a massive like gift in a way by being able to be on that program. Like how much has that just positively affected your career?
Absolutely. So when I was an amateur, still in Idaho and whatnot, trying to remember exactly how it came about, but essentially like there was for some reason, like I don't know if it was true or not, but there's talks about me racing like the first 3 rounds outdoors when I was an amateur in 22, but that ended up falling through. But I think it was set up by Lucas when I still worked with him to bring me out there and train with those guys, because originally it was owned by Mark Lane when he was still doing the Rocky Mountain team.
Yeah.
So when I went out there, Jett and Hunter weren't owning it yet. They didn't start owning it until it might have been farther into the next year, but because Mark was still trying to do that, was still when the Rocky Mountain team was still around. But so when I got there, basically it was like, let's go for a month before Loretta's and just go train with those guys and go try it out, see how it is. So the opportunity was there, and it worked out for Honda because obviously they already ship parts out there. So anything that I needed, it was easy to ship out there. So
yeah,
they just send it with those guys. So kind of for everybody, it worked out. And for me, I was ready to leave Idaho. I wanted to get out of there and kind of do my own thing, go ride somewhere else, you know. Because dude, in Idaho, I have to pack up, drive hour and a half to go ride anywhere. So, so we moved out there, or I guess I went out there for a month. When I was there, Jett, Hunter were there, then me. Bogle was kind of off and on still riding, and Drew had just moved there. Our buddy Aiden Shy was there. Ethan Lane was still riding, but dude, other than that, like that was just the crew. Like there's 6 of us. Like,
That's so sick.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. So I started riding there for the month, and then just my dad had a business relationship with Dan Truman.
Yeah.
So that's how we start. Or I guess that also helped when I went out there. Is I think Dan also helped set it up as well. So because Dan is the manager for the facility. He manages like who comes and goes and all that jazz. So between all that, ended up going out there and just I loved it. I kind of went back and forth a little bit to Idaho and back. Obviously, being the youngest, my dad didn't want to let me go and be on my own. He didn't care that I was on my own. He just as a parent, like you don't want your kid to move away. Like
You guys are a close family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a bit hard, and I was the last one to move out. So, yeah, he was hard. It was hard for them. One, they're getting old, and they have no more kids at home. So, yeah, once we kind of got past that, it was fun. Like I did my first full Supercross boot camp there, and then I lived in Claremont for about a year there, and then when I did my second knee, went back home. Then when I came back in like end of 23, I bought a house in Dade City. So then I was fully moved out there. I was committed. So, but like that whole next year there, dude, I had so much fun. Like it was awesome. I honestly, like it was some of the best times I've ever had in my life out there, just hanging out with the boys and looking back on it now. Cause I remember going through that phase. It's like, man, dude, I'm having so much fun. Like it's just, I'm out here, I get to ride my dirt bike and hang out with the boys. And like that year I only got to race 4 rounds of Supercross. So the rest of it, I was just doing 40-minute motos all week. I'd ride 4 days a week, do 40-minute motos, and just 240s, no warm up, just go out, knock your motos out, and you're done. And like I'd do that 4 days a week, and I was just like, damn, dude, like
this is living.
Oh, this is sick. Yeah. Get done, go hang out with my buddies, and it was sick. Reality hit a little bit, struggle with the races. I'm like, damn, like that kind of sucks. But
so you weren't like on Burner's program at that?
I was on Burner's program at that time.
Okay.
I guess I skipped a whole step there. So I go to Loretta's in 22. I sucked. I was horrible. But
why, you reckon?
I fought the bike a lot too. Like just between that and dude, I don't know. But like we ride like 8 times at Loretta's.
It's just a fickle mistress, that place.
I had 8 different sets of suspension. I don't know what it was. It was hard too, because for one, I was the new bike that year. And also being new to the team, I didn't really have a relationship with everybody. And then on the amateur side, they had me using Factory Connection, and the race team was using Factory Showa.
Yeah.
So what they were coming up with setting wise, Factory Showa, Factory Connection, Factory Showa, they don't share information. So I'm doing my own testing, developing my own bike with a suspension company I've never used before, because I grew up using Pro Circuit. So it was tough, and it's like towards the end of it, we all kind of started to understand each other a little bit, but I mean, it was too late at that point. So I just kind of really struggled with everything and didn't really get a lot of opportunity to test with them, and it's like when we did test, it was like super, super small changes at a time. And it's like, I remember I was like, dude, fuck, we need a big change. Like, let's make a big change here.
Yeah, throw something at me.
We need something. I remember they spent 3 days out at the farm with me. And I was on a different linkage than stock. I think they'd only done testing with stock linkage or something. I remember this day, because it was like, Ziggy had a pretty good sit down with me, and he was like comforting me in a sense, because I ended up breaking down. Dude, it was like 3 days, and we were getting nowhere. And I remember like I kind of came off, and everyone's just like, kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I remember I just went back, and I was just like, dude, like, what do I do? Like, I'm on factory Honda. I can't figure this bike out. I can't ride this thing, like I was struggling so bad. And then, yeah, Ziggy had a pretty good talk with me and, picked me back up. And he's like, dude, we're figuring it out. We're working on it. So that was super cool with Ziggy. The Factory Connection guys worked their butts off for me. Like, we spent a few days, long days out at the farm riding. So I remember that. As an amateur, like, dude, that was a lot. That was the most testing I've ever done at that point. So, and then just went to Loretta's. And it's hard when looking back on it now, because factory show, like, dude, it's tailored to me. Like, I'm doing all my own stuff. I can probably set up a test whenever I want, like, that's just how the way we work. Where Factory Connection, it's like their company, like, they're doing so many different amateurs, like, they can't just tailor it to me. So that was tough. That was really tough. Because it was just like they had to make time for all the other guys that they were helping, all the other amateurs they were helping, and they were definitely a lot more involved in the amateur scene than Pro Circuit was. Pro Circuit was mainly tailored around the Team Green guys. Yeah. Obviously, they had their setup at the races, but I think Factory Connection was just more universal for everybody. So that was super tough for me to, like, get that type of, I guess, attention that I needed to the bike. So I ended up fighting it a bunch, but I remember one day out at the farm, Dad's let me ride Jett's bike, and I went 6 seconds faster on Jett's bike.
What?
Yeah. 6 seconds.
That's crazy, dude.
And I rode his bike 3 laps. That was it. And I was just like, it gave me so much more confidence, because I was like, dude, maybe I just suck. Maybe it's just like I'm just not cut out for this, Like, maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I should have, went to Pro Circuit. Maybe I did the wrong thing, But, like, after I did that, I'm like, all right, like, let's get through this situation, like, get to me, like, where I'm on the pro program, because it was hard with doing the amateur program with Honda, because they didn't really know, like, what to give me. Where Team Green, it was like, that was the best amateur team ever. Like, I don't know how it is nowadays, but, like, when I was an amateur on Team Green, like, dude, that was a full-on factory ride, basically. Like, dude, we were in a semi at the races. We had the old rig that Jake and RV were in, Like, I'm just showing up to the races, and my bike's there, factory bike, basically. Like, I mean, it was an amateur spec bike, but, I mean, like, factory, like, feeling, Like, dude, it's badass. Where Honda, like, it was the same thing, but, like, they didn't really know what to give me. They weren't really sure what was too much or what was not enough. So it was also tough, too, because they're, factory Honda's doing their own thing. They don't have a group of people for an amateur. They have their group of people for factory Honda, for professionals. Yeah. So there's a couple guys, like, kind of jumping back and forth, helping me with the amateur stuff. So that part was really tricky.
So could you not just say to him, like, hey, I rode Jett's bike and I really like it. Can I just have something like that?
Because I was still amateur, and also I was still using factory connection stuff. So like, I was kind of waiting till the time where my contract switched to my pro contract, or like I guess I wasn't really officially on my pro contract until summer that next year, but that's when I was like, guys, like, I'm not racing futures again. Like, I can't go race futures again. Like, I need to, like, the bike it's inhibiting my progress right now. Like, I need something, like, that's going to give me that next step. And then that's when I started making that switch over to the pro bike, which my pro bike wasn't, like, the official pro bike until Jett went pro, and I basically got his bikes. So, like, my bike was a pro bike, but, like, some of the electronic-wise.
But like, you probably would have just wanted the suspension more than anything. Suspension,
I mean, dude, mainly it's just the suspension, the access to some of that stuff, Like, that's what I was really wanting. Like, not that, like, my amateur bike was, like, slow or anything. Like, it definitely was underpowered compared to the pro bike. Just, like, certain components were a bit different. Obviously.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
But I just remember that day riding Jett's bike, and it was just, like, a wave of just relief. I'm like,
I made the right call.
I was like, all right, man, just hang in there a little bit, Like, obviously it kind of ruined it going back, because I had to go back to my bike and ride it. So it was good, though, because it made me suffer. I learned how to suffer, and, and
just grind it out.
Like, that's all I could do.
And so you do that stint there, and then when you decide to go back to the Lawrence compound or to the dog pound full time, that was kind of through that period.
Yeah. So around that period too is when I started working with Burner, because
Yeah.
I was during that period when I was struggling with the bike afterward. I was like, dude, I was lost. Like, I'm like, I was working with John Wessling at the time. He was doing the troll training, but it's hard though, because I was in that transition where I really needed somebody with me. But with John doing all the stuff he was doing, he just physically couldn't be with me. That's nothing against John. He has his own business to run. So that was when I kind of made that transition to working with Burner, because it was the same thing with Jake too. Like, he was in Idaho, he was farming, he had his own personal issues he was dealing with at the time too. He couldn't be with me. So it was like, Burner's the all-in-one. He's working with nobody right now. He's willing to help me, willing to guide me, riding on bike, off bike. I'm like,
Oh, so you were Burner's first full-time guy.
yeah. So Burner has his program. It's called Moto Blueprint.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get it running. Essentially, like, I was kind of like his test dummy in a sense. So, because this would have been after he did his stint at Rocky Mountain, and then the team shut down. So he was that was his next project, and I think he was trying to do it while he was still doing the Rocky Mountain stuff. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
just to kind of get it going.
Yeah. But he had the idea and everything made up, but he didn't have any riders, and he wanted to get, because at the time that was when Mark Lane still owned it, and it was like the compound was even harder to get into when Mark owned it. So, which is obviously super cool. Like, it's unique to get into that place. So, there wasn't really, besides, it was me, Jett, Hunter, and then Drew and Shive. But I think Drew was training with Seth Rarick, because Seth Rarick was at the farm for a bit. And so it was just me and Burner, like, did a month trial, and it was like, hey, I'm not going to make you pay for this month. Let's just figure it out. I'll make you a program. Let's just stick to it, and we'll go from there. So I went back to Idaho for 2 weeks, I think. So I went back to Idaho for 2 weeks, and I came back to Florida and did a couple weeks, and just everything went good, and then just stuck. And 6 months later, he fully started the program, got a couple other guys doing it. Drew started training with him. A couple guys kind of go in and out, and then he started helping the Lawrences out a bit. So it's a pretty cool program. Like, when we're on the East Coast, like, he takes care of Jett and Hunter. When we go out west, like, Johnny helps take care of me and the boys. So
Yeah.
we got a cool little program there. But I mean, now it's me, Drew, Seth Hammaker, Tiger Wood, couple other amateur guys. But it's a cool program. It's cool. It's been really cool to be a part of it and just help kind of be a test dummy in a sense. But, like, a lot of stuff that he was using with those guys is stuff that me and him kind of developed over like a 6-month period before he started working with other people.
Yeah.
And it's been cool though, because Burner's like my dad.
He's the best, dude. He's such
like
a good guy.
He's like my right hand man, and I lean on Burner about a lot of, like, everything. So like I said, he's one of my guys in my corner. That's I want him there forever. Like, he's a badass guy, and I really respect Burner, and he's been there for me through all this shit, dude. Like, he's a solid. He's a solid. He's a really good guy.
So the vibe is pretty rad at the compound. Like, the way that you guys have got it set up, I feel like it's a very unique kind of setup in the sport, and it's obviously getting some pretty epic results. Like, obviously you haven't been at other facilities and stuff, but, like, how would you explain the vibe there?
Doesn't feel like work. Is the thing. We go there, and, like, obviously there's days it does, like, you go there and you're digging, but we'll go out there and, we're all suffering through a 30-minute moto. We'll stack each other up and pass each other slowest, fastest. And I remember there's a day that it would have been the day that Jett started, not the day he started riding again, but like a couple weeks after he started riding, through a few weeks. So he was kind of back in the swing of things doing motos. We lined everybody up, did a 30-minute moto. He started like 6 seconds or 10 seconds behind me or something like that, and then chased me down the whole time. And like the last 4 laps, we just had a battle. Like, we ended up passing everybody, and me and him were having a battle. And it's just like, everyone's out there digging, everyone's out there suffering, dude. But we're doing it together. We come back, and everyone's got a fucking smile on their face. Everyone's dude, that was a good job, dude. Like, we're digging out there. Like, I know it wasn't easy, but you just keep digging. And, when you have a group like that, it's like we're pushing each other to be better. Like, we're a family out there. We want each other to be better. Drew's like my little brother. Me and Seth are awesome friends, like watching Seth through Supercross. I'm like, dude, like I wanted Seth to win so bad.
Oh, you would have been cheering so hard
Like,
for him.
dude, like I felt like I'm sitting there watching the board. Honestly, I'm like, fuck, Seth, come on. Like, dude, I wanted him to win so bad. And me and Seth were teammates on Team Green as well. And he was like one of the only guys on Team Green that would honestly really talk to me. So I was like, dude, like him and Jacob, his mechanic, like, dude, they're super good people. So I've always like loved Seth since then. And then being around Drew on Team Green as well, and then being at the farm, Drew's like my little brother. So between those two racing and obviously being as close as I am with Jett and Hunter, it's like, dude, our vibes are, amazing. And a couple of the other guys there, the couple of amateur kids, our boy Shive out there, like, dude, it's so hard to explain until you're there. I feel like when people are there, like, you realize like what everyone means by like the vibes out there are high. 'Cause it's like we're in there, we're talking shit to each other, we're having fun. But at the end of the day, it's like we want everybody to be the best version of themselves. Yeah. And that's what's cool about Jett and Hunter out there too, because it's like now that they own the place, like they don't have to have all of us out there. They don't have to open it up and, guide us. And like we're out there training, they could just let us do our thing and they can just do their thing. But they're out there opening it up to everybody. They're taking us under their wings. They're showing us the ways. And even if that's just out there, just watching them ride, it's like people are out there riding, they'll walk out and help them. And like some of the privateer amateur guys, like, or even there'll be times I'm out there by myself and like me and Jett are really close. And like, he'll walk out there and watch me. And he's like, hey, like try this, try that. And I'll sit there and do a section a couple times and he'll sit there and like, we'll kind of like nitpick a couple things, but dude, it's a badass environment.
Yeah, like he doesn't have to do that.
Absolutely not.
Guy's a fucking multi-squillionaire that could do literally anything he wants.
Yeah, Jett could go freaking. He could be on a hole 16 right now, and he could be golfing at his house or doing whatnot. But like when I'm out there testing, he's out there watching and helping. Like obviously not all the time, but like just the fact that he even does it, like even him and Hunter does it a little bit too, and it's like. We'll go out there and watch Seth and Drew, and I'll like when Drew was learning Supercross, I was helping Drew out a little bit with like whoop stuff, and it's like I remember one day I was helping Drew like learn how to carry his wheel to the second whoop or the third whoop, whatever you want to call it, and he kept like wheeling too much and dropping his wheel because the whoops were pretty safe, like they weren't super big. But he kept dropping his wheel. I'm like, dude, you do that in big set of whoops, you're gonna eat.
Yeah,
shit.
you're done.
He's like, dude, I'm doing it fine. I'm like, dude, no, you're not. So like, Drew, like helping Drew with that, and if you understand Drew, he's a stubborn kid, but I love the guy. But dude, it's just stuff like that. Like like I said, we're all out there to help each other. It's a fun environment. It's such a unique place to be. I don't think there's another environment like it, know?
No, it is unique. Like even when we went there at the end of 23, I think it was the end of 23. But even like Tate being there, Dazzy being there.
Yeah, I forgot about Tate.
Dude, like he's like the thing at that place.
Tate's,
he keeps the vibe. He keeps the vibe just where it needs
Tate
to be.
humbles everybody. He just talks shit to everybody. Tate bullies us.
Yeah. But yeah, we went out there and we did the filming that we did there, and like, I mean, I didn't know exactly kind of how it was going to be, but it literally was like I got transported into Australia. It was like I was in America, and then I've landed in Dade City, and then I drove there, and then I was in Australia. It's like, that's exactly, those boys just haven't lost any of like the Aussie banter and the Aussie attitude and the Aussie vibe, It's like, it's pretty sick.
It's a different persona than what they give off at their races, Like you would think it's some like luxurious place that's like the grass is like well kept and everything's super level, and there's not an ounce of dirt out in the grass, and it's pretty well kept, and it's a very well kept place, but it's also like
it's lived in.
Yeah, Daz grew up on a farm. Burner grew up on a farm, bro. Like we're not out there like spending millions of dollars on stuff, Like we're making stuff work. We're going to Harbor Freight and getting tools and nuts and bolts and tying stuff together. We got a welder. We're welding stuff together. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
So you still got the like it's the grounding. It's the humility. It's like you never lose that. I feel like, especially the old boys too, they never lose that, and that's what I think having Daz out there, having Burner, like, keeps us all grounded. It's like you could be you could be on a farm right now in Australia, you know,
picking walnuts,
doing who knows what.
Yeah.
Like it's keeps everyone grounded for sure.
So, what do you think makes Jett so good? You've probably seen him ride maybe more than anyone at this point.
That's such a shit. I feel like that's such an open-ended like question. It's like I don't know if Jett knows. You know, like I don't know. It's because I sit there and watch Jett, and he's amazing on a dirt bike. Amazing. Like it's the stuff that he does that I sit there and watch. Like he'll be doing a moto, and he's going fast already, and then he just gets in the flow state, and it's just faster, and I'm just sitting there watching, and I'm like it's almost like unreal because it's like I've been in that scenario like where you're doing a moto and you just you get in the flow state and you're just knocking like fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. You're dropping your time. Like when you're in the moment, like it feels like you feel good, but like you know how it is when you're watching somebody actually do it. And like, cause obviously I can't sit there and watch myself third person. So I'm sitting there watching him do it, and it's unreal, like unbelievable. And like I sit there and like I try to think to myself, I'm like, what is he doing that's just so much better than everyone? And it's hard for me too though, because it's like I believe that I can be as good as Jett, you know? But there's something in Jett's brain that just, back to what I was saying earlier, like I wish I would just trust my instincts a little bit and just shut my brain off. Which I almost think he turns his brain on when he gets on the bike, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like Jett's such a goofy, funny guy. Like, doesn't really strike you as, you know, the smartest guy by any means, but he's just a goofy guy. He's just a goofy kid. But when he gets on a dirt bike, like his IQ level, it just, like it's what Hunter said in your guys' interview, it just increases.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but dude, he just, it was really cool when he was like not back to his like normal self when he was getting back with his knee, because I was about the same speed as him, like sometimes a little bit faster, but when he started getting like back to his normal speed, so he was starting to catch me at the end of motos, but like he wasn't putting like multiple seconds on me, you know, it's like second here, dude, and like I got to follow him for a couple laps, and just like his line choice, you know, like even though his speed wasn't there, like he still had the same line choice, same stuff. Like I'm sitting there watching him, I'm like, holy shit. It's like, it's not that he's doing anything like crazy, but it's just how smooth it looks, like how easy it looks. Because it's like I take a lot of my line choice from him and Hunter, just sitting there studying him, because obviously I can't watch him when I'm riding. So that's the only part that I wish I could see when I'm out there, because I can judge my gap from them, but I can't sit there and watch them. But sitting there and like following them around and kind of chasing them, it's cool watching it. It's poetry in motion, honestly. Like it's so smooth, and you see it on TV and it looks so smooth, and everyone's like, he just looks like he doesn't even trying, but it's a different animal when you watch it in person. When you're that close to it, it's unreal. And like I said, flow state's a completely different Jett. It's unreal.
Do you think that he gets into that flow state more than other people?
I think flow state's more normal for Jett than it is a lot of people. You know, like I feel like Jett's normal probably is flow state, for which a lot of people, it's like once we get into flow state, then it's like, yeah, we're there, you know. Like my flow state's definitely like, it's not like rare, but it's not as easy to get into as it seems like it is for Jett.
Now, if you're looking for the coolest and most durable gloves for your next ride, you've got to check out Fist Handwear. They have an incredible range of gloves for every condition, from hot weather to cold, and even specialized options for motocross, BMX, road, and workwear. What I love about Fist is their unique designs, whether it's hula girl skulls or logos from top athletes. They've got something that stands out, whatever your taste. Plus, their gloves are built to last, offering comfort and protection in all conditions. And it's not just gloves. Fist Handwear also offers a variety of apparel and accessories like moto socks, which I love, tees, hoodies, and hats. With free shipping USA-wide, there is no reason not to gear up with the best. I haven't used any other gloves for over a decade, and I don't plan on switching. Do yourself a favor and get yourself a pair. Join Fist Army today by visiting fisthandwear.co and explore their full range. So like Colorado for you, was that flow state?
That was definitely flow state. That was just like, but like even like some of it like wasn't like, I just felt like for me, that was just me. Like that was just the chance that finally showed up on the weekend. That was the chance that I can compete for wins. Like I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do anything different than what I usually do. Like the only thing that was different throughout the week is I found a better setting with my bike. But I went there and just, I knew that it was the mental thing for me. I knew that I could go win. Like where the weekends before, like I had the food poisoning. I was like already kind of struggling mentally. And then going into round one, I was fighting my bike quite a bit. So you always have that in the back of your head. Where I went into Thunder Valley and I was like, it's time, let's go win this thing, you know? And I remember when I pulled the whole shot first moto, I'm like, let's win this thing, you know? Then after the first moto, like obviously, like I'm sure a lot of people like I was stoked for sure, but I'm like, it doesn't mean anything if I can't go back it up. And then when I pulled the whole shot second moto, I'm like, let's fucking finish this thing. Like, let's do this. And then obviously when I was done, like, I'm just like, I wasn't like overly excited, but I was just deep down, I was like, finally, like, that's what I've been looking for so long, was just that day. Like, coincidentally, it was at Lakewood, because I feel like I could do that on any track, you know? Like, when I'm in that mindset, I can do that at any track. But I was finally in that mindset at Lakewood. Was it the comfortability I have with the track? Because it's not anything I grew up riding.
No,
it's way different than what I grew up riding. Like, it's not that it's like...
There's really not many places like that.
Nothing, really. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm obviously a very technical rider, so with how ready it was, I'm always really good with the ruts. But, dude, it just... Everything clicked for me that day. And it's like, it's not that it's like everything went right, you know? Like, I had some moments where I wasn't happy with in the motos. Like, I rode a little bit tight, and I was pushing too hard, where on the track you couldn't push too hard. And I feel like for me, like, flow state's at like 90%. That's when I do my best work. Where obviously someone like Haiden, he's on it. So I feel like for a track for him, like, you couldn't be on it like that at that track. Like, you had to back it off and ride at 90%. Where for me, that's where I do my best work. Obviously, I can send it and put a fast lap in. Like, I did it at Apollo. I've done it at Hangtown. Like,
yeah, you've qualified first a bunch of times.
Yeah, like, I can do that, you know. But it's just, I am my best at 90% on a slower technical track.
Just in a zone, like really keeping it in a perfect window.
Very methodical with your lines, and you have to be very technical. Like, for some reason, that is a lot easier for me, which for some people, it's very difficult, you know? Like, when you're married to a line that just keeps going and going and going and can't get out of it. Like,
and you know it sucks and you just can't change.
For me, that's no big deal. Like, I don't know if it's just the trail riding that I grew up doing. That's like, you're so used to just the one line. Just trail, just you only see 10 feet out in front of you and that's it. But like, it's just, for me, it was something that, I don't know. Because it was like, holy shit, like I actually did that, you know? I was just like, it's good. That's what I needed to do.
So you don't feel like you, in that motos or those two motos, you're tapping into like some crazy kind of zone. Like, it just felt very normal.
No, it wasn't like I was going through the motions and I was like, you know, like a pilot at that, or a passenger at that point, you know, like, because there's sometimes like I'll be out riding and it's like you get a couple sections ahead and then you like, you know, when you're driving, you kind of space out a little bit and you click in, you're like, whoa, like you definitely,
where did all that road go?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have some of those moments riding, but like I never had a moment like that. I was just so locked in, on what I was doing, and I had so much confidence in what I was doing. Like, and it's, I don't know. Like, it just, everything felt right. Everything I did felt right. I didn't feel like I made one wrong move, even though, like I said, there was some stuff that I wasn't happy about that I did in the motos, just like a couple wrong errors, but I was still making up time. I was still, you know, building a gap, even though there's times I'd make a mistake and he'd pull back in on me. But I felt like I was just, I don't know, doing everything right.
How did you feel any type of way about his bike having the issue that it had and then him having to back off at the end? Like, did that play into your mindset coming into Moto 2?
No, because it honestly helped me
Really?
because I knew he was overriding his bike.
Mm.
Because obviously he uses the clutch a lot. He's loud on it.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I didn't ride the factory bike, but I rode the amateur bike when I was there.
Yep.
And as soon as the boys, like the mechanics, were out watching me, like for the reaction, and they're like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I can see why all of these motherfuckers just rev the absolute shit out of these things because that's just what they do. Like,
Right.
they're like, please rev the fuck out of me. Like that's what that bike wants you to do. It fully made sense why those guys do that. It's like that motor just works so good when it is just revving its tits off. Yeah. So I get it a little bit more now.
Yeah, which our bikes make the most power bottom end. So the more,
just a different style.
Yeah, the more you're lugging it, kind of torquing it, not revving it out. Like obviously, like there's times like going up hills or something, like I can rev my bike out and it pulls really good. But for the most part, like
it's doing its best work where you want it to.
When our bike's like not revving it out. That's why our bikes sound so quiet.
Yeah.
You know. So obviously those Yamahas, they rev really high. The Kawasaki's rev really high. Same with the KTM's. But dude, it just like I said, after that first moto, like I could tell I was gapping him a little bit, and then he put a couple laps in that caught me, and then I kind of matched it. And then he had his bike problems or whatever, and I saw him rolling around. Like, 'cause I thought he like did something and like hurt himself, and then they were telling me like his bike was smoking and like he was. Because, like, I know how he rides. Like, he clutches the bike a lot. Like, he's fast, though. Obviously, he does it really good. He does it better than everybody. But you couldn't do it on that track because the track was so deep. But, like, I could have did that on my bike. I mean, my bike was starting to smoke after the first moto, too. Like, it was just getting so hot. So, I knew after that first moto, like, he's, like, I got him right where I want him, you know? Like, I felt like I was in a comfortable position. He was smoking his bike, trying to get there. I mean, granted, like maybe something happened, maybe something didn't. But in my mind at that time, I was like, he's pushing his bike, trying to keep up with me.
Yeah.
And he almost blew it up, trying to keep up with me.
And going into the second moto, he's going to have that in the back of his mind.
Exactly.
Whereas you're not.
Exactly. And then he lined up outside of me in the second moto, and I was like, all right. Like, okay. And then obviously the whole side of the second moto, I'm like, I just need to get him in that position again. And then towards the end of the moto, you put a couple laps in that was catching me. I got really screwed with flappers. But yeah, because I remember there was one section like I had a pretty big gap on him, and then came around and he was like right on my ass. I'm like, holy shit.
That happened quick.
Yeah, I was like, dude, where did that come from? So then I matched 2 laps, dropped my lap time back down to 2:15, 2:16. I believe that's what it was. Matched it, pulled the gap back out. And then last couple laps, he kind of just let me have it, I guess. But not let me have it. I mean, I won that shit. But
yeah, but there's a point in the fight where
there
you're
was
like, okay,
there was
I'm
like
not
6 seconds
it
between us, you know. And I think he realized he wasn't gonna catch me, so he was like, whatever. He just kind of wrote it in. But yeah, once I realized like last lap, I had that gap on him, like I could see him. I was like, I fucking broke this guy, you know. Like I did it, you know. It was obviously it's different with him because obviously we have our little bit of a rivalry, but
Do ya?
Oh, no,
You're cooked, bro.
I know,
Dude, I will say that was fucking funny.
I thought it was funny too, you know.
So fucking funny, dude. When I saw that shit, I was losing it, bro. Did you like? How did that part even come up? Did you say he was cooked, or like that was just
so random, dude? I don't even know. Like I said, like I don't like dig into this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like I started to recently just because it's funny. Like, cause like,
dude, that shit was hilarious.
yeah. So it was funny, and like obviously like it's fun to kind of chirp in a little bit, but like I'm not a loud person. Like I don't really dig into that stuff. I don't really care. But it's also like nowadays, it's like no matter what you say online, or like I could say I'm confident online, and people are going to say I'm cocky and talking like how I'm the best, you know? So it's like, you know what? I'm going to say what I want, and people can take it. I could say the best thing about this guy, and people are going to still say I said something bad about him. So, you know what? Why not? I'm going to say what I want, You know, people are gonna turn what I say anyways. So
Well, and I think, you know, Hayden's like looking for guys. Like he wants that as well.
exactly.
So it's like
Yeah.
you're not if he wants to do that, like you're not getting away from it. You
Yeah.
know, you might as well find it funny, lean
Yeah.
in. It's great for the fans.
It's
Like
but also I feel like the best thing to return is by saying nothing.
mm,
You know, I think because he obviously he wants the reaction out of it. That's why he does it. He wants the reaction. He's a confident person. That's what he wants. But when you don't, when I was doing what I was doing and matching him, and then I beat him at Lakewood, and like I never said anything after Lakewood, you know. But he's posting stuff. He's like, oh, like I've never seen somebody think he's so hard before after winning one race or something. I'm like, dude, I haven't said shit. Like,
yeah.
like I'm just going about my life. I'm back in Idaho, dude. Like I don't care. Like I'm off the grid now. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. Like he's obviously like the fans love that stuff though, and he knows how to entertain the fans.
Yeah.
And he's like that's part of his brand. He's good at it, you know. And as a racer, like I really respect Hayden, dude. He's badass.
He's fucking gnarly,
He's
bro.
gnarly, you know. Obviously, as a person, do I like him? No, but it's part of it, you know. You don't really like people you race, you know. Obviously, it's different with him.
Yeah.
We've had our own little run-ins, but as a racer, you know, like, dude, he's gnarly. He's doing badass shit. He's the only guy since Jett that's, you know, dominating the 250 class. So it's, good on him. Like, it's good. It's good for it's good for the sport, what he's doing. You know, it's obviously, it's hard for me to say that, but it is. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, he's bringing a lot of attention to the sport. People love it. People hate it, but.
And both are good.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, bad publicity is still publicity, you know? So.
Well, and I think, and I think you got the right attitude towards it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the problem is you can't, in my mind, like you can't look at it any different.
100%.
Because like to me, what I'm saying is just the reality of it.
yeah,
You know,
he's a fucking badass rider.
Yeah, he's awesome at what he does. He's awesome at his job. Do I like him? Not one bit. But
But
that
fine.
doesn't take away from what he's doing. You know, like he's still a badass on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
He's what the brand he's building, him and his dad are building. Like, dude, it's badass. He's the biggest in the sport, next to Jett. So, like, what they're doing is sick. It's insane for the sport. It's good for the sport. So, obviously, it's different from a competitor's standpoint when you take it back. When you take out the competitor's standpoint, like the emotions from it, you look at it from business standpoint.
Yeah.
What they're doing is incredible, for sure.
But then it sucks to actually have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're
It
the
sucks
dude
to deal with it because it's
Yeah.
like no matter what I do, it's always like brought up. It's like, oh, Deegan this, Deegan that, Deegan
Yeah.
this. Or it's nowadays it's, you know, Jett and Deegan or whatever, you know, but it's like that's the only part that sucks for me because you just can't like I'm
Yeah, you
just,
can't
I'm
get away
just
from it.
Chance. I'm just doing Chance stuff, but it's like, oh, like I post something, it's like, oh, something about me. And it's like Deegan gets brought into it. It's just like guys, just leave it out.
Let me
you
do
know,
my
it's just
thing.
like I'm just Chance doing Chance. Like we don't need to just do the constant comparison and you know he's gonna smash him or whatever. Like I get it. It's social media. You can't stop that. You know, it's just like come on, guys. Like it's just pump the brakes on it a little bit.
How good are you going to feel, though, if he wins all the rest of these motos? And you were the guy. You were the guy that stopped the historic. No one's ever gone undefeated in the lights class. And that will remain a fact, no matter what Haiden does for the rest of this season. That's hectic.
Yeah, and it's not like I got given it to me either. Like I straight up beat him. So yeah, it'll feel pretty good.
Are you like quietly cheering for him to win all the rest of the motos? And then you're like, well, guys, thank me later.
Yeah, I'm
everybody."
like, I don't know. Like, it's not. The thing is, like, it's not that I like don't want anyone to win. Like, obviously, like I'd rather see Joe win or Levi win, like, or even Drew win. You know, like people I like or Seth. But at the end of the day, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not a fan. You know, like whatever happens. It's racing. I don't really. The only person I'm really actually watch from a fan standpoint is Jett Hunter. You know, because that has really nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So in the lights class, like it's hard for me to watch though, because it's like, damn it, like I could be out there, you know, because to me, like right now, like I feel like I'm the only guy competitive with them. So it's tough, and especially since it's probably his last year on a 250, it's like, damn it, like and it kind of also didn't matter because I was out of the points anyways. But at least like I could be competing for wins, you know. Like
Yeah.
he wants the wins, and like I want to be competing for the wins, championships, whatever. It was out the door. But
Yeah.
I mean, and shit, anything can happen. You never know. But I mean, he's solid. He's consistent. He's good. So yeah, that part of it kind of sucks. But and especially after like after watching him at Southwick, and it's like I saw him hole shot, and I just turned off my phone. I'm like, well, he's gonna win that.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
That's
like-
why something else.
Yeah, I was like, first hole shot he pulled all year. I was like, whatever. But obviously, like, it's whatever. It's just a normal rivalry.
Yeah,
obviously,
100%.
it's tough with him because he has such a big following. But you know, I honestly do enjoy it. Like, I do enjoy racing him. It's a lot of fun. He's a good competitor. It's been kind of wild, like. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, like, we're way better than everybody, because everyone out there is really good, you know? But it's like, at Lakewood, we were a minute ahead of everybody.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, we all started together. Like, what? Like, or even at High Point, you know? Like, I started behind him in the first moto or the second moto. And, I mean, he was gone the first moto. And then in the second moto, like, he had 10 seconds on me. And then I had 6 seconds on Vial. And then Vial was gone from whoever was in fourth. Like, how does that shit even happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the level's just so high when you're up the front of the field.
Yeah, it's been cool seeing, like, the level that because I feel like I'm pushing him to a different level. Like, I'm the only guy that can, but he's obviously bringing me to that level. And then I push it, and then he raises it. And then I push it again, and then he raises it. And it's just a constant build. And I feel like that's what we were getting at. Obviously, he's been a lot more dominant than I have. I've only got 1 win. Or 2 wins, but you know, it's at the end of the day, he's got to have someone he's got the target on the back. And
yeah.
I feel like even though he targets everybody and said he wants to beat everybody, like obviously he wants to beat me because he knows I'm the only guy that's been close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what makes him so good? Just to glaze your arch enemy a little bit. Because I've got another question, so I need to set this up first.
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just the FU mentality or just like the I'm better than everybody type mentality. It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like a UFC fighter mentality, you know, which it's like our sport doesn't have. And, you know, our sport's never really had like somebody besides like J-Law that's been like so out there like that. So I think if like he has a normal mentality for like a UFC fighter, you know, but like in our sport, that's pretty small.
Yeah.
And he's doing stuff like that. Like, I think it just rubs people the wrong way because we do have like kind of like your normal, like, you know, good old boy redneck fans, you know, compared to most people. And a lot of people are just like a normal, like good guy. And like, I'm sure Hayden's a good person outside of all the shit, but obviously
I've seen him be a very cool person.
Yeah.
Like I'm in like a weird position because like I see you personally.
Yeah.
I see
I've
Jett,
heard,
you know
I've
what
heard
I mean?
good things. Like I've also heard like he's a normal person outside of all that, but
Yeah.
like on the side that I am, I'm on the complete opposite
Yeah,
side. So I'll never see
get-
that side of it.
exactly.
You know?
Yes.
Maybe until we're 50 years old or something, you know, but I'll probably never see that side of him. But I've also heard like he's a normal person. So,
Yeah.
But outside of all that, I mean, he shows up every weekend confident. Like, it just goes back to all the mental stuff. I mean, he's on a really good bike. He's obviously really strong. Like, he puts the work in, but I think when we're all that close, the mentality comes in, and he knows he's confident. He knows he can go out and win every given day. So
Yeah, it just becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
exactly.
You know? Yeah. No matter the track, no matter the conditions, no matter the bike, no matter this, that.
It doesn't matter. I think when you have that mentality that you just don't
I
give
think
a shit,
especially outdoors.
especially. Like, I think in Supercross you can't. I mean, because we've seen Cole beat him, we've seen Juju beat him. Like, I don't think you can have such a like don't give a shit attitude Supercross because it's just a different discipline.
Yeah.
But outdoors you definitely can. Like, I think you can because you can hang it out like that.
Yeah.
Because the problem is you can't hang it out with like the I don't care attitude in Supercross because it's like you have to be pretty technical still.
You have to care.
Yeah, you have to care.
Yeah.
Where outdoors, like, you can hang it out and get loose.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So, all right, you are the only guy within Kui racing Hayden. and you spend every single day at the farm with Jett, can Haiden beat Jett, or is Jett levels above Haiden?
I mean, I'm not going to say he can't beat him because I think Haiden is a good rider. But I also look at Jett and he's destroying everybody. Like, I compare Deegan to like an AP. Like, is he going to go out and beat AP? I mean, AP is riding really good.
Like, unreal.
Yeah, like, I just don't. Obviously, will he get to that point? Yeah. Next year, I don't think so. Like, I think just people are just hyping it up so much. But, like, it's riding a 450 is a lot different, especially racing it. So, will he run up front? Will he get a good start and run up front? For sure. But do I see him beating Jett straight up? Not anytime soon. Like, I just think Jett's just so good in that sense. Like, even Hunter, like, I don't see him straight up beating Hunter either, you know? Like,
bro, Hunter straight up dropped Tomac.
Hunter's he passed him, dropped him or whatever.
Bro,
Like,
it was unbelievable. Like, the whole Tomac thing this year, I think because he's not winning, people automatically think like he's struggling or there's something not right. On it, he's riding great. I think Tomac's riding great. AP's riding amazing. Bro, Hunter and Jett are just fucking cooking right now. Like, they are on a crazy level.
Absolutely. And I think it's different if you take Jett out of the equation. You know, like, obviously I think Hunter's winning. It's going to be different when Chase comes back for sure. But you have J. Coop, AP, you have Tomac, like, even Coop a little bit. But I'd say those three are a little bit higher than Coop right now. But, dude, those guys are good. Like, dude, J. Coop's sneaky good, and he's continuing to get good. Better, I should say. Like, and then you throw Hunter in that equation, like, I would say Hunter's maybe closer to those guys than he is to Jett. But I think Jett's just on a different planet when it comes to that stuff. And especially, like, when I said Jett looked more like normal Jett this weekend, I just don't see Haiden being at that level soon. Just because, like, I see him being on the level of, like, those other four. And those guys are still the best in the world. Like, those guys are awesome. Like, that's not bad at all. Jett's just on a different planet. But Jett can go single-handedly beat anybody in the world right now. He's just that good. He is the best guy in the world. And I feel like I forget about that, like, because Jett to me is a normal person. Like, I have that relationship with him. He's a normal person, you know? So it's like when I sit here and talk about him,
you see the idiot Jett.
Yeah.
Way more than you see the beast in the motos guy, you know?
Well, it's like, whoever's going to watch it's like, oh, he's just glazing Jett because he's buddies with Jett and Hunter. But it's like, dude, like, I never, like, this is the first time I've actually ever talked about, like, Jett being this good. Because it's like, when I'm with Jett, like, it's so different. Like, we don't even talk about dirt bikes. Like, we just talk about normal shit.
Yeah.
Like, just normal life. Or, like, when I ring on the phone and we're talking for an hour, like, it's just normal. Like, we don't even talk about dirt bikes. So, like, actually sitting here and talk about him, like, dissecting Jett as a person, like, or as a racer, I should say. Like, dude, he's unreal. And I just don't think, like, from a fan perspective, obviously, like, people are going to hype up the Deegan Jett stuff, but I just don't see anyone matching Jett anytime soon. I mean, Supercross is different because obviously it's a lot closer, but outdoors, like, Jett's him. Jett's him.
Yeah. Dude, like, I wonder too when I watch him ride, I'm like, I feel like he's not really trying that hard. Like, and I mean, you know, you look at, there's motos where he'll win by like 2 seconds. And part of me thinks that that's like Dazzy being like, don't slow down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like that whole.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Don't fucking do that. I know you can, and I know you want to, but you're not allowed. Like, he's like on a thoroughbred, and he's just like pulling him back because it's like we've seen. I think that they have just learned from history what happens to the fastest man on the planet when he tries to flex that muscle. Jeffrey Hurlings.
James
Stewart. Like, there's a playbook. Like, we went through a generation of guys that wanted to win by a minute. When has Jett ever won by a minute? I don't even think he's ever had a race where he's won by a minute.
I don't think so.
Do you think Jett could win by a minute if he wanted to?
Yeah.
So, like, the level that we're seeing, like, Southwick was maybe one of his most dominant rides ever.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't by a minute. But it's like, I think what you're seeing is like this extremely polished and put together and disciplined young man that has just had it drilled into him his entire life that he's not allowed to win by a minute, you know?
Yeah, I just think he's understands more than anybody how to manage a race, where we're not wasting more energy than we need to, whether that's instilled by Dazzy. That's definitely instilled by Dazzy. You know, we're not wasting more energy than we need to. We're not going to get anything from it. You're getting first place at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you win by 20 seconds or a minute, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Win by an inch or a mile.
Yeah,
Same shit.
Hey, it doesn't change. First place is still first place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at lap times after first moto in Southwick. 10 minutes to go. Hunter's starting to catch him a little bit. Gets to like the 7-6 minute mark. Jett puts 3 more seconds on him. Rides it in. You know, like he gets that big of a gap. Kind of just not rides around, but he manages the gap, comes down a little bit, puts 2 laps in, calls it a day. Outside looking in, whether that's what's going on or not, I don't know. That's just what it looks like to me.
Yeah. But then think about how nice your motorcycle feels if you're riding that pace and if you're just finding the best lines and if you've got that level of freedom. Think about how fresh you are for the second moto. Like, does Jett even need to be that fit when he can ride a motorcycle as good and find the level of flow that he can? I really think that there's something to you saying that, like, Jett might be in flow more than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that I feel like I see that in him when he rides because it's just like, and maybe that's because he's not overthinking it. There just isn't crazy analysis going. He's just forever. He's just got on the bike, and it's probably because of Dazzy, and it's probably because of Hunter. You know, like he's got these guys.
Well, he's got to learn from Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter paved that way for them.
Who thinks about everything, worries about everything.
Which I relate a lot more to Hunter in that sense because I'm a thinker, you know. And I've had these conversations with Daz, you know, like. I sit there and like I've kind of not really had like a heart to heart with Daz, but just like kind of dissecting like what I've been going through. And he's like, I relate you to a lot like Hunter. Like you want it so bad, but you sit there and kind of think of it, you know, so much that it's like almost inhibits you. Where Jett just like, yeah, whatever, gets on the bike, goes and rides. You know, like I just think also Jett's a very creative person off the bike. Like mixed in with their creativity with the designs, I guess kind of like the fashion stuff he does. He's starting to get into more of like camera stuff and like taking photos and making unique stuff out of it. Then he's with his car stuff and design his house, or just he's always into that stuff. So I think also being the freak athlete that he is, that creativity in his mind that he has outside of it also helps when it comes into play when he's racing, because he can just think of stuff that just rolls off the top of his head. When I sit here and like you look at it, say you're trying to create something, like you're trying to make artwork from, you know, a normal person perspective, like you're trying to design something. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know, you give me a blank canvas, I don't know what to do. But like I feel like Jett's the kind of person, you give him a blank canvas and he's like, sit there, all right, what if we do like a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and just starts piecing it together.
And he just starts doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jett's, to me, is that kind of person, which, like I said, since he's such a freak athlete on the bike, you mix that in, and that's what allows him to be so creative. Because it's like it's almost like he doesn't even think about it, which I'm sure he does. But like, it's like he just does it. It's just so creative. Like we look at it like, holy shit, like how do you think about that? Like, how does that even come up in your mind? You're connecting this, putting this line together, hopping these bumps, doing this, but it's just like, he's just so creative, but that's just as a person he is outside of dirt bikes. Like he's a creative person. He's a goofy person. Like he just rolls on through life, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's just how he is as a person. So I feel like in my mind that helps translate to the bike.
Yeah, he's just got this perfect little freak mixture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Freaky.
Fucking Jett. So it's 4th of July. It's America's birthday. Let's end this thing with you. It was pretty cool. I don't know how many people know this story, but last year with all the motocross nations, who's gone, who's not gone, in and out, there was a guy named Chance Hymas that was begging and pleading for the AMA to get on that team. You want to talk about like some of the phone calls and the processes that you were going through to get on the Motocross of Nations team?
Yeah, so I'm pretty good friends with Christina Denny. She works at the AMA. Just met her through doing the futures and the combine stuff when I was moving my way up to before I became pro. So that wasn't really my in, but having the people in my corner that I do, like obviously people talk, and I'm sure there's a lot of conversations that were had that I have no idea about. But I remember my first conversation was with my first real conversation about it was with Mike Pelletier at Washougal. And this would have been after I had my ankle injury after Millville. So I didn't do very good at Washougal, obviously, but everyone kind of knew the circumstances. So there was a couple talks about it. And then I remember Hunter was talking to Pelletier, and Hunter kind of waved me over. He's like, hey, he's like, I think you guys got something to talk about. And he's talking to Mike. Hunter walks away and kind of started the conversation there. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But so I'm sitting there talking to Mike about it, and I was just straight up. I was just like, dude, like, I know I'm not your number one pick, you know, but I'm like, you choose me and I will do absolutely anything you ask me to do. I don't give a shit what it is. And he was happy because obviously there was a bunch of stuff between me and Deeks at that time. And he was like super happy with how I handled it just because I didn't say anything, like I wasn't doing anything. And he was super happy about it. And I was just like, he was asking me how my ankle was and how my knee was. I'm like, my knee's been really good. Like I haven't had a problem with it. My ankle just, it's sprained, and I partially tore a couple ligaments in it, but like they'll grow back. Like it's just a gnarly sprain basically. And then I just remember we had a good conversation about it. I'm like, I know there's, because it would have been between Deeks, Levi, me.
Yeah.
But then I remember, I guess Deeks had surgery, got something taken out of his wrist. Cowie doesn't really support it, I guess, so they weren't going to send it back for Levi. Levi's me. So I just remember saying, I'm like, Honda's already sending bikes over there. I mean, it's not that hard to send another 250 over there. So, I mean, and they were already sending 250s for Webster.
That's right.
So that's just kind of how I got my foot in the door. And then the last 3 weekends of the year, I walked into the AMA rig, and I sat down with him and some of the other AMA folks and just sat there and bullshit. You know, I was like, hey, I'm just doing my weekly check-in, you know, just making sure you guys are doing good and just letting you know that I'm still ready for to go race nations. And obviously at that time I was putting in some of my best rides that I had. Obviously with my crash Unadilla, but a lot of speed. Buds had a really good result, crashed though, but then ended Ironman with the second overall. I should have won Buds. I could have went 2-2 and won the overall, but I crashed last lap in the first moto. Should have won Unadilla. A lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, you know. But I think with my persistence, because I went every weekend, went to Ironman, said what's up, like even all that. Then after Ironman, I remember I was driving to dinner. Dan calls me. He's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Ready for what?" He goes, "You're gonna go to England, buddy." I was like, "No fucking way." I was like, "No way." He's like, "They're finalizing it right now," but he's like, "I'm pretty sure you're going." I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, no way. Like, no one else is going. They're like, no, everyone else said no. I'm like, dude, no way. So, like, I'm on my way to dinner. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got C. Brown, my practice mechanic, with me. I'm like, dude, no way. Like, we're actually going. Get a call at dinner. I'm with our old crew chief, Jordy, with both my mechanics, Tommy and C. Brown, one of our other buddies, too. And then Mike calls me. He's like, hey, welcome to the team. We're stoked to have you, and we're ready to go get this trophy. And I was just like, I remember just sitting there. Like, I still get chills about it right now. Just like, dude, like, that's like, I know everyone says like they dream about it, but dude, like that is the one race I want to do so bad. Like growing up watching it, like I remember watching Dunge and RV win it those couple years, and then watching Trey win it, Jake win it. Like, dude, it's just such a, it's just the trophy that I want so bad. You know, I want my name on that trophy so bad. You know, like I brought this thing back to America. You know, like I'm one of the people from America that went over, beat all the Europeans, and brought this thing back to America to, you know, prove that we're the best. Like that is my dream. That's my bucket list right there. And it just, at the end of the day, it's like my way of giving back to the country, you know? There's so many people out there, speaking of 4th of July, that sacrifice their lives to be able to, so we can be able to, you know, go race our dirt bikes for a living, you know? And this also goes back to me having the perspective on my legs, like where I've wanted to quit. Dude, there's people out there that
they don't have legs anymore because of that.
Yeah,
you know?
And there's moms raising their kids without a dad because their dad didn't make it back.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you think about shit like that, bro, I'll take 4 months off. Give me my fucking torn ACL. Like, that is nothing compared to going to war and not coming back. Like, those guys are out there fighting for our country, fighting for our freedom. And, you know, that's the way we can repay back those guys, is we go and we beat all those other guys.
And fly the flag.
We fly the stars and stripes. And if that's all we can do for the country, that's the only way I can give back. You're damn right. That's how I want to give back. Like, I love being an American so much. Like, I have so much pride. Fly the stars and stripes. Like, dude, it was my dream. I wanted to do it so damn bad. I still have the Team USA hat sitting on my TV stand. Like, dude, it's just, Fly Racing had some really cool gear that I was going to wear too. Like, it was the 98 Dream Team. The 98 Dream Team.
Yeah.
Olympics, I guess gear, if that's what you want to call it. But
yeah.
Dude, it was going to be unreal. And I was so excited for it, you know, and then just obviously all the knee stuff happened, and it just crumbled.
Yeah.
Crumbled, man. And that was one of the biggest heartbreaks I've had.
That would have hurt a lot.
That one hurt a lot, especially it's like, you know, there's patriotic people out there, you know, like I'm not saying I'm the most patriotic person out there, but like and I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm so American, you know, like, dude, I genuinely just love our country so much. And I'm so blessed to be able to be an American, get to wake up and do my dream job.
Yeah, you are the American dream, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're the example of a kid that was born in the USA, that their dad had started from nothing and built a successful business, and then give his kids everything that he could. And the kids, instead of being entitled and, you know, like fucking off and taking advantage of it, grinded it out, and then they're even more successful than their dad, you know? So it's like that is the definition of the American dream. And like, you are an example of like the best thing that the country has to offer, or like the best, it's like the values that America stands for, you know, like work hard, get rewarded, raise a family, your kid works hard, they get rewarded, you know? So like, you really are an example of what's possible here.
Absolutely. We're the land of the free because the brave, you know, and my dad built his business from nothing, you know, and he had the free will to do it, you know, because of all the people that went and sacrificed their lives. So, you know, he had the opportunity to go and do that, to go to school, to learn all this stuff and be able to do that. Without any of that happening, probably wouldn't be any Chance Hymas in the sport, you know? Without my dad being able to build a business, there wouldn't be a Chance Hymas right now. So it's without all of that, due to all the sacrifices from all the people that have went and fought for our country, you know, sacrificed everything, all the single parents out there raising kids without their father because, you know, they unfortunately lost their life at war. Like, dude, if that's the only way I can give back to them, damn right I'm going to do it. Like, if that's the only thing I can do, it's the number one thing on my list I want to do. I know that's probably not the most politically correct thing to say, because obviously I need to win Supercross and outdoor championships, but like, a bucket list dream for me in my heart is that. And that's why I was like, I look back at photos from Redbud last year, my first ever outdoor national win, record attendance at Redbud on America's birthday, wearing American flag gear, American flag helmet, American bald eagle on my bike. Dude, it doesn't get any more American than that.
Yeah.
Like, I look back on, I'm like, you know what? Nothing will probably ever beat this win for me. Nothing will ever beat that day for me, because that was just such a picture perfect day in that sense. The racing, whatever. Winning on America's birthday at the most American race of the year, badass. And nothing will ever top that, I don't think.
Well, dude, I really think that you're going to get a chance to win that trophy. It might be on a 450, it might be on a 250, might be you and Deegs on 450s together.
Once in my career, man. I just need to do it once.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I feel like you'll do it.
Thank you.
Well, dude, this was awesome.
It's great.
Glad
I finally made it on here.
I know. Thanks so much for doing it. And yeah, on the 4th of July too. So I think we should leave this place. We should go and do some American shit.
Absolutely.
You're going to go do some therapy.
I'm going to go do some therapy.
But after that, do some American shit.
Absolutely. I'm going to go buy some fireworks.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's what I'm telling Anna. It's her first 4th of July here. And I'm like, we're not sleeping at all tonight.
No,
there's going to be fireworks going off all over. Like even last night, I was working on my bike till like 10 o'clock. And I started my bike up. I got a brand new titanium pipe on it, so I'm like holding it on, trying to get it blue. And she's like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, dude, there's motherfuckers blowing up the sky right now.
I heard them all night over by me, shooting fireworks off. I'm like, you know what, this is what it's about. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, but there's one night that I can fucking start my bike at 10 o'clock and hold the thing on, and it's the 3rd and 4th of July.
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, we're in the safe spot.
Exactly.
Dude, thank you very much. This was awesome. You've always been extremely cool to me. You've got awesome family, and yeah, I wish you nothing but the best in the sport, bro. It's gonna be cool to watch you over the next 10+ years.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
No dramas, mate.
It.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.